Rupp Arena in Lexington. 23,000 fans at least here to see #1 Florida, #7 Kentucky on Super Tuesday, presented by Dollar Rent-A-Car. The Gators and Cats also the only two unbeaten schools in conference play. Florida at 7-0, Kentucky at 6-0. What a matchup this should be tonight. It's all a part of rivalry week, presented by Novell. Of course, they have met many, many times, and Kentucky, as you might imagine, has dominated the series, especially here at Rupp Arena, 23-4 all time. Let's introduce you now, courtesy of Dick Vitale, to some of the key players in this matchup tonight. Matt Bonner.
Inside-outside, one of the most prolific inside-outside performers in America.
The outstanding freshman for the Gators, Matt Walsh.
Tenacious, an unbelievable, relentless player who can put points on the board quickly.
Now Kentucky, Keith Bogans.
One of the top 10 scorers in all time at Kentucky. That tells you enough.
And guard Gerald Fish.
Mr. Versatility, a combination guard. He can score, and he can also dish the rock.
Plenty of stars to go around. The Star Watch takes us inside. David Lee and Marquise Estel. Maybe, Dick, the key matchup tonight?
It'll be a big-time matchup. They're going to bring the ball inside to Estel, trying to get Lee into foul trouble. Florida will double-team inside. We got a championship environment. This place has been electric. It's been enthusiastic for the last hour and a half.
Eric Daniels strong to the hoop, and the Cats take the lead.
Daniels getting his eligibility was a big plus. It happened in the North Carolina game.
Both of these teams, amazingly unselfish, always the extra pass. It is seen as a matchup of Florida's offense against Kentucky's defense. Do you buy that?
Yes, I really do. There's Nelson knocking down a long-range jumper. He has 7 against LSU. He's been really in a struggle all year, had the stress fracture in his foot. Nelson's so valuable. They have so many weapons from the perimeter.
With Dick Vitale and Andy Katz, Dan Schulman here in Lexington. 3-2 early Florida. Daniels blocked and stripped by David Lee, and here come the Gators.
What they do really well, Kentucky, is pass the ball on the interior exceptionally well. Always looking for the open man.
Justin Hamilton at the point for Florida. Very unselfish. Does not look for his own offense very much. Here's the all-SEC performer, Matt Bonner. Walsh swings it to Lee, and the lefty is long on the 10-footer.
Great ball movement by Florida, but they come up empty in a shot. Nobody gets back.
Chuck Hayes with the reverse.
Lack of defensive transition by Florida. Billy Donovan told me today before the game, that's a key here. We must get back defensively.
He said every time somebody takes a shot, he wants his guards back to prevent layups. Nelson with a scoop, and he's gone all 5 for Florida.
Hey, am I going to see a performance like I witnessed here in 1998 with Brent Musburger? Jason Williams came in here with Florida and put on an electrifying show, and that was the team that beat the ultimate national champ, Tubby Smith's first year.
Nelson averaging only 7.5, but is coming on of late after missing the beginning of the season with a stress fracture. Gerald Fish knocks down a 3. What a start here tonight.
I tell you, Fish has been such a valuable performer. He has matured. Last year, he was part of team turmoil. He was really a problem on the club that has grown up. He said, one of the reasons, I don't want to hear my name mentioned on SportsCenter in a negative way. He said, I want a positive.
Tubby Smith told us last week down in Tuscaloosa, they don't like to play by my rules. They can go play somewhere else, and it seems to be working this year.
He said, I don't have to please anyone. They have to please me.
Now look at the GMC starting lineups. Florida with a Matt Walsh, a freshman, a big-time scorer, and another one, an Anthony Roberson, coming off the bench. And Kentucky with Hayes and Daniels, they don't get a lot of attention outside the SEC, but they're the glue guys on this team, really help out in a variety of ways.
There's Bogus with a little curl move, but you're right. You know, Hayes, how good is he? He has 17 and 16 against Notre Dame.
Nelson feeling it, misses the 3. Kentucky with the ball and an early 2-point lead. What a steal by David Lee. Nelson spinning on Fish. Might have gotten away with a shuffle there. And it's going against David Lee on the offensive foul.
Good call by Jimmy Burrow. What a crew we got on the game tonight. Valentine, Clarkerty, and Mr. Burrow. As you look at Billy Donovan, former assistant at Kentucky, was on the same staff with Tubby Smith. Tubby told me the one thing he remembers most about Billy Donovan, great work ethic.
Well, they coached together for a couple of years under Rick Pitino here in Lexington, as we've got a foul away from the ball.
Learned so much under Rick Pitino. One of the great strengths of Pitino is preparation, scouting. Some of the facets that make him a great coach is his ability to prepare at practice, and that's rubbed off. I think Tubby and Billy Donovan's greatest asset is their preparation at practice, the repetition, over and over and over again, drilling in certain areas of the game.
Their intensity and their passion as good as any coach in America. Bogans with a three. What an improvement he's made in his shot this year.
Well, he's had a big-time year, averaging 16 points a game, flirted with the NBA, would have been a disastrous move on his part.
Now steal by Bogans, 2-on-2. Trying to force his way over Lee. Daniels with a foul.
They got so many people that could hurt you. There's Daniels with the offensive rebound.
Hamilton quickly down to the other end, knocks down a tough jumper.
We have said so many times how unselfish Justin Hamilton is, and he's a defensive stopper. He's one of the real warriors in the game. Matched up with Bogans.
A call away from the ball goes against Kentucky.
I can't get over the pace of this game and the environment. It is so electric here. It's NCAA tournament style. Two unbeaten teams in a premier conference, maybe in America. You can make a case also for the Big 12.
Amazingly enough, this is the first time that a #1 team has come to Lexington to play the Cats since Indiana did it in 1979.
And Indiana left with a big L.
That's right. Kentucky was #5 at that time. Hard to believe no other #1s have played in this building. As the folks here in Lexington say, that's because Kentucky's always #1.
Plus, they play in a conference and play against people that beat each other.
Bonner the rebound on the pitch miss. By the way, a minute or so ago, it was not a foul on David Lee, just a turnover, so he has not picked up any fouls. 12-7, Kentucky. Walsh, wide open three, and he knew it.
I'll tell you one thing, he's not afraid to take the big shot. We saw his debut on the collegiate level in the NIT, scored 26. His dad's a Hollywood scriptwriter, and he said, I couldn't write a better story about my son than his debut in college.
He's had 33 against Miami, 22 against Kansas, and now he's in disbelief as the foul call evidently goes against him. What a start we've got here tonight between two of the top teams in America. An amazing atmosphere here at Rupp Arena tonight as a couple of former coaches on the same staff, Tubby Smith and Billy Donovan, go at it here tonight.
I think Kentucky's got some maturity. They've got some players that have been in this league.
Not riding the shirt tails of what Kentucky used to be. They're trying to make a name for themselves.
Presentation of NCAA basketball is presented by Dollar Rent-A-Car. When it's your money, log on to dollar.com for our lowest rates. And in part by GMC. We are professional grade. And GE, imagination at work.
This is all a part of Super Tuesday, presented by Dollar Rent-A-Car, and a super matchup to say the least. Florida #1 for the first time ever in school history. Kentucky #7. We saw them against Louisville right at the end of December. In the second half, they got blown out, lost by 18 points. How have they changed since then?
I'll tell you one thing, Dan. Think about it. You lose to Louisville, but not only do you lose to Louisville, you lose to the darling, the former superstar here as a coach, Rick Pitino. Put all kinds of heat on Tubby Smith. The talk shows were going bananas, but all he did was roll up his sleeves, go to work, and sell to his players the value of defense. And since then, they have been playing suffocating defense to the tune where they've ripped off 10 consecutive victories against quality competition. That tells you a lot about the character of Tubby Smith.
In conference play, they're holding the opposition to 57 points per game, and there's no question Kentucky and Florida, one of the best rivalries around right now. With more on that, here's Andy Katz.
Well, yeah, Dick's talking about losing to Louisville. That is by far Kentucky's best rivalry. That's what the coaches say. But if you talk to Florida, without question, it's Kentucky. They've shared the SECs 3 years in a row. SEC overall champions 2000, 2001. The Florida players get up for this game more than any other.
Well, you know, Andy, it's becoming Tubby versus Billy as a big rivalry, just like Michael Kay against Gary Williams in the ACC.
Bogans, another good look and another made three-pointer.
He feels it. You watched him in the warm-up. He was shooting the ball with confidence during the warm-up drills. Keith Bogans has matured as a player. Shot selection, so important to his game now.
Justin Hamilton, he's looking for his shot quite a bit here early tonight. Jules Kamara into the game now off the bench for Kentucky. Gerald Fitch with a quick three. Off Offensive rebound, Bogans, but he throws it away, and Nelson is behind the defense. Missed it.
He was anticipating Kamara, who's a shot blocker, trailing the play, and that really bothered Nelson.
Chuck Hayes is called for the foul.
You're going to take a look at right here. Bogan squaring his body, steps right in the gap of the defense, and he drains it. Good shot selection. Poor job by Fitch, and the shot he took was too quick.
Nobody's quite sure who's going to the line right now. It's been called a shooting foul on Hayes on that follow attempt after the missed layup. And nobody stepped forward for Florida to the free throw line. Now finally Justin Hamilton gets the honors.
Justin, one of those kids that we talked about is so unselfish, and if you want to win, you have to have Hamilton's on your club. He's a good defensive player. See, he was bothered there by Kamara. Then there's Hamilton, and they called the foul on Hayes, making contact on Hamilton.
Asked Billy Donovan this morning about Justin Hamilton. I said, in one sentence, what's he all about? He said he's all about winning. Doesn't care if he scores. All he wants to do is play defense and set up his teammates and win games.
He's from out of Sarasota. Played a vital part also by going to the Boys and Girls Club at Sarasota. They helped him tremendously. In fact, he's going to be honored on Sports Night that we have out there on April 22nd.
Cliff Hawkins, Antoine Barber check into the game now for Kentucky. Anthony Roberson and Vanell Colas come off the bench for Florida. Both of these teams will go 8 or 9 deep with some very effective players off the bench.
Hawkins certainly has been valuable since he came back from his academic problems. Give him some point guard play. There he is with the rock in his hands.
He's a very quick guy, loves to penetrate. Hayes double team. Kamara thought about it.
Very tough to scout a team like you look at Kentucky because they have so many different guys that can hurt you. Every night it seems someone else steps up.
And Florida can say the same thing. They've had 6 different players lead them in scoring in a game, and 6 different players score at least 20 points in a game this year.
Well, one of the best performances I've witnessed on the tube was Anthony Roberson, the kid with the rock in his hand. 7 threes in the second half and hits the nail-biter winner at the end. And there he is knocking it down against Georgia with a hand in his face. He drains a trifecta to win the game.
A Jarvis Hayes hand at the end of a 6'7" body. And I know the first time you and I saw Roberson against Louisiana Tech, you were impressed with him right away.
Oh, you have to be impressed. You watch 5 minutes of the kid up and down, and you can see why he was so heavily recruited by Duke and also by Michigan State. I think they got a lucky break in that Marcus Taylor was still part of the Michigan State program, or I think there's a possibility he might have headed to Spartan country.
Interesting. Well, he's a big part of this Florida success right now. With more on the Gators, let's go back to Andy Katz.
What all the coaches have been so impressed with is the unselfish play, not just by the freshmen, but also by the seniors. They've accepted sometimes a complimentary role, and that's been the difference in the streak for the Gators.
Yeah, sometimes Bonner doesn't score a lot. Sometimes Hamilton doesn't score a lot. There's Bonner from the elbow. No. Follows his own miss. Kamara and Hayes in there to defend, and here come the Cats.
No blockout assignments out of the zone. Florida rotated into the zone defensively.
Look at that pass from Daniels to Kamara, but a block by Colas. Daniels tries to put back.
I tell you, look at the toughness inside. I mean, they are going at it, baby. They are going at it. Look at the hustle. Look at the scrap. Look at the claw. Look at the diamond. I mean, are you kidding me? He's going to make the old John Madden team. Oh, man. Warbirds. Watch him inside. I mean, that's not the place for anybody weak, man. If you're meek or weak, you don't want to be on the interior here. Look at him scrapping and clawing and hustling. Florida, #1 in the nation. Sounds so strange in basketball. It's not Steve Spurrier in football. It's basketball.
They were #4 last week with the top 3 teams, Arizona, Pittsburgh, and Texas, all suffered a defeat in the last week. And Billy Donovan said today, I don't know if we're the #1 team in the country. The guys ahead of us all lost. He said at the beginning of the season he didn't think they should be ranked very highly at all because they hadn't earned it. But they have earned this #1 ranking with the way they're playing right now.
Ah, that's typical coach speak. They're always crying and moaning. Are you kidding me? He'll tell you, he'll tell you the truth. He knows that these kids can flat out play, man. He's got a lot of big-time prospects and players on his team, and he does a great job coaching them.
He's got Christian Dreyer into the game right now. Mystery by Barber. Off the fingertips of Dreyer. Yeah, he touched that ball. The outstanding prospect, the freshman from Denmark, who suffered a hip injury then a sprained ankle, got an infection in the ankle, had to have an abscess removed, and only started playing for Florida in the last couple of weeks, and he's only playing 10, 12 minutes off the bench.
And here he is with a steal. He was labeled by many to be a top 20 selection in the NBA draft had he come out early last year.
Roberson misses the three. Polis runs it down with more on Dreyer. Back to Andy Katz.
And the amazing thing, guys, is that actually all these NBA scouts are here still to watch him, still at this point in the season. But the Florida coaches told me earlier they can't get over how much he's bought into that team concept. That's the difference.
Lee turns it over. 2-on-1 Kentucky, and Hawkins pulls it out. Esther, he's got a strength advantage on Lee.
That's where they got to go inside. Bring the ball into the interior. We watched him perform brilliantly in the second half against North Carolina. He's a kid that can score. Against Louisville, he only took 2 shots, and that is an absolute no-no. He's got to get touches. There's the steal by Kentucky. Hawkins pushing the ball up the court. Now he's going to back it out. Good basketball IQ, and then dump it inside. Bring it to the big fella. And the big fella wheeling in the 3-second area with the score.
Rivalry week will continue tomorrow night. Another one of the hottest teams in America, Rick Pitino's Cardinals, now at number 6, taking on Cincinnati in a Conference USA matchup. And then ACC Wednesday, presented by Staples. Dickie V is going to be in Durham to see the Blue Devils take on the Tar Heels, North Carolina.
I'll tell you one thing,
big time.
Duke at home is so special. They are absolutely dynamite at home. And that game, I don't care, as long as the jersey says North Carolina and it says Duke, and you got the Cameron Crazies going bananas, and they are a great advantage to their team, especially at home. It's a special place.
Full court pressure now by Kentucky, and Florida turns it over.
Good job by Kentucky. There's that suffocating defense.
Elena Azubuike has made his first appearance in the game tonight for the Cats. And we've got a Florida foul. It may be David Lee.
You know, how suffocating has their defense been? I'll give you 3 examples. Against Vanderbilt, they fall down by about 14. Second half, they go 46-16. Hold them to 4 field goals. And also against Alabama, 12 minutes with no field goals and 11.5 minutes with 1 field goal against Auburn.
Tubby Smith working hard. We'll talk a little Rick Pitino and some connections when we come back.
Late earlier on ESPN2, Jerron Brown going inside and using all of those 229 pounds to fight and get his own and stick it back. The team that might have been number 1, winning 68-61 over Billy D's alma mater.
That's right, Reese. Billy D played there under Rick Pitino. Then, of course, Billy D, along with Tubby Smith, coached here at Kentucky on Rick Pitino's staff. This is from 1989-90. Also, Herb Sendek and Ralph Willard on that staff. And as we get a close-up look at how they all looked 13 years ago, Pitino hasn't changed at all. Tubby's lost the mustache, but look at the do on Billy the Kid.
I tell you, that was the younger days of Mr. Donovan. Look at him right here, like a little kid. Incredible. Pitino, you tell a lot about a leader by the people he surrounds himself with, and that was one of the great staffs in college basketball.
Estel back into the game for the Cats, finds Fitch on the baseline. And before the shot, and we've got a foul going against Florida.
Look at Billy teaching defense, something he never played when he played. All he wanted to do was shoot the jump shot. He played in '87, as we said, with Providence. They went to the Final Four. That was the year that Indiana and the Hoosiers cut the nets down with Steve Alford and the General.
Rhett Nelson in the backcourt for Florida, along with Roberson. Up front, it's Lee and Dreyer and Polis. Well, you mentioned Final Four. The last 2 times the Final Four has been in New Orleans. Billy Donovan has been there as a player at Providence. Bogans again, and as assistant at Kentucky in New Orleans is where it is again this year.
I tell you, what a great job in attacking right there, Dan. The zone defense. Carter rotated into a 2-3. They used the skip pass, get the open Bogans, and he takes the high percentage shot in terms of a good shot. Nobody on him.
Kamara rips down the rebound. Kentucky going big right now with Kamara and Estel. Bogans again. And Nelson just does save it in bounds. Florida's going to have to respond. They've been very good on the road this year, but they're down 6 here in a very difficult atmosphere tonight here at Rupp. Roberson the miss. Polis with the rebound. No!
Kentucky staying in that zone defense, not playing their normal man-to-man. Even though this year they have shown the zone, they utilized it against South Carolina. Excellent passing team. They don't have a legit point guard, but everybody can pass the ball. Listen to this crowd. These fans are so passionate.
Back in December, they were worried about their team. They were booing them now and again.
Bring it inside. Just bring it to the big guy inside. That's their game plan. Wave it off.
Wave it off, yep.
They want to pound it inside. Going to dump it into Estill. He's got two people all around him. They foul him before he releases the ball. John Clarkerty right on the call.
Christian Dreyer picks up the foul, his first. And as you mentioned before, at times Estill seems to be almost invisible, and at times he's absolutely dominant.
Exactly. He has that kind of ability, but he's got to make himself available a little more, Dan. He has a tendency to disappear a little bit. He doesn't really make himself available.
Polis out, Bonner in for Florida. Kentucky with the ball and a 6-point lead, and Bogans going for the kill from the perimeter here in the first half. He has missed his last 2 threes. Good look from the corner for Walsh. Rebound Bogans.
Florida really does a great job of fanning out in transition, getting to the 3-point line.
Bogans finds Kamara. Baseline jumper long, and it's out of bounds to Florida. How do you think these freshmen like Walsh and Roberson will respond to this kind of an environment here tonight?
Oh, I don't think they're intimidated at all. I think these kids really have played so much basketball in their life as scholastic kids, playing AAU competition. They really, great players want this kind of environment. This excites a great player.
Well, I was here this morning when they walked in for the shoot-around, and not one Florida player gazed up at the banners, looked around in awe. They came in, took off their warm-ups, and went to work. And it's easy in a place like Kentucky or North Carolina to get to look up at the rafters and get caught up in all the history.
Well, they're like museums. I mean, you go down to the Dean Dome, it's like a museum. You see all those jerseys there. They're doubling up inside every time the ball goes past them.
Great anticipation there by Nelson. He's got trailers as he is fouled on his way to the bucket.
He's got a trailer, but you got to communicate. To you young kids out there, if you're ever trailing, you got to communicate and let them know that you're behind them at all times. See, right now, he's got a trailer. You got to communicate. He's coming right at us, man. He's got to flip it over his shoulder, and they got to lay up.
Fitch with the foul. His first sends Nelson to the line. Shooting just 30% on the season. And they need some sustained offense like they've had recently from Brett Nelson.
You know, he had such a good year, his sophomore year. In fact, that year, he and Tayshaun Prince were the 2 best players in the SEC. But he had some injuries. Then he struggled a little bit with the adjustment of moving away from the basketball. And then after a while, I think it becomes a psychological problem. Mentally, you start to struggle.
Florida has missed its last 10 field goal attempts, yet they still find themselves down by only 4.
Now, how many teams do we see that happen to that plays against? They're bringing it inside. That's that game plan. They're saying stop the big guy. They're saying it's a mismatch on the interior. Tubby Smith, preparation, understands strengths and weaknesses of his people.
Estill 2 for 2 inside right now. When they get him the ball, he knows what to do with it. Walsh. Florida relies on the 3 more than any team in the SEC. Hayes out of control, throws up a prayer, and Estill wave it off. The foul goes against Marquise Estill, his second.
Estill over the back. You know, you mentioned about Florida shooting the 3s, Dan. They're shooting them too quickly. They're not making the extra pass. There's Hayes, a little bit out of control right now. Flips it up to the glass. There comes the offensive rebound by Marquise Estill right over the top. There's the contact. He says, no, no, no. 23,000 agree with him, but there's only one guy that counts, and he's wearing a striped shirt.
Estill to the bench with his second foul. He averages only 23 minutes per game because of foul trouble. If they could ever keep him on the floor for 30 or 32 minutes, he'd be dominant.
Exactly. A lot of zone defense being played right now by Kentucky, getting away with it against a good shooting team like Florida.
They got 4 outside shooters on the floor right now. Walsh inside is fouled hard. And the freshman from Holland, Pennsylvania, will go to the line. Tomorrow night, it's NBA Wednesday on ESPN2. The Atlantic Division leading New Jersey Nets take on Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers at 7:30 Eastern Time. Coverage begins with NBA Shoot-Around at 7. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Well, this guy really opened up a lot of eyes back in November with 26 in his debut against Louisiana Tech. 33 in a double overtime win over Miami. his scoring is down considerably in SEC play, but Billy Donovan says he is still one of the best passers on the team, and he's really cut down on the turnovers. We saw some wild passes early in the season, Dick. He's pretty much made that a thing of the past.
Yeah, he's trying to make the spectacular play, and he said, look at my hair. I'm just jealous that he's got hair, man.
Me too.
And he says simply, I'm going to cut it when we lose, and I don't intend to lose, so I'm keeping it, baby.
Florida hanging in, down 4 here at Rupp. Games do here at Rupp Arena in Kentucky tonight. A few of them, in fact. What an environment it has been here tonight for Kentucky and Florida. Rivalry week presented by Novell, and with Billy Donovan's Gators presenting a real serious challenge to Kentucky for SEC supremacy. What a great choice for rivalry week this is. They're both unbeaten in conference. Florida's #1, Kentucky's #7, and when Marquis Estel has been in the game and in the paint, he's been getting it done.
Well, there he is on the interior. If he gets any kind of space inside, he's going to score. If he gets any lane to the basket, he knows how to finish. Here he comes over the top for an offensive foul there. Upset, gets #2. Rivalry week. What a week. You had Kansas, Missouri. What a game. Heinrich and Mr. Collison, when they got their A game on, they're the best tandem 1-2 in America, inside, outside.
Estel on the bench with a couple of fouls. Kamara on the bench as well right now. So Kentucky has gone very small by their standards. Fitz with an open look for 3.
That's for his mom, Ruby. She's listening down to Macon, Georgia. He said, I had to mature. I didn't want to disappoint my mom. Last year, he was really a problem here, and has really matured this year.
You have not heard any problems out of Lexington so far this season.
This team's got chemistry, and that's the word, chemistry.
Hamilton the miss. Daniels the rebound. Kentucky on the move. Look ahead for Bogans, and it's off his fingertips.
You know, I mentioned the word chemistry. If you talk to some of the Giantson coaching, Mike Krzyzewski, Roy Williams, John Chaney, Dean Smith years ago, they will tell you the value of chemistry, players understanding their roles, and people really devoted to the jersey they're representing, the name on the front, and not caught up with trying to get glory for themselves. And that's what Kentucky and Florida are about. Unselfish kids who put winning as their priority.
Kentucky doing a great job shooting the ball from the perimeter so far. Florida's gone better than 7 minutes without a field goal, and that'll continue now as Roberson gets called for the offensive foul.
And that's no accident. Billy Donovan, who's done an amazing job to get his program to #1 in America, knew coming in here they were going to see some tough defense. There's the offensive foul. Hawkins beats him to the spot. I was talking earlier, they went 11.5 minutes at the end of the first half and allowed 1 field goal to Auburn. They went in the second half after being down 14 and only allowed 4 field goals to Vanderbilt on the road. And you and I had them against Alabama, 12.5 minutes without a field goal.
And then 9 minutes in the second half. Chuck Hayes with a 3.
Chuck Hayes, 17 points, 16 rebounds against the Fighting Irish from Notre Dame. Give them one of their 3 losses. Listen to this crowd. They're going bananas at Rupp. They're going wild. College hoops doesn't get any better.
Moss working hard inside, and the redshirt freshman from Houston finally snaps the drought as Florida comes up with a bucket.
And I think Florida's got 3 fans. I see Christine here, Billy Donovan's wife. I see Jeremy Foley, and I see, they say the president's here. So they got 3 people here. 3 most important in Billy Donovan's life. The AD, the president, and his wife.
Bogans on the drive. What strength!
And his dad's here. That's the 4th.
And it's back to a 10-point lead, and now for Kentucky.
This Kentucky team is a different team than what you and I fought down in Louisville.
Over the Christmas break, Tubby Smith got them thinking about defense again, and did they ever listen? Look at the effort here as they force the tie-up and get the ball back on the alternating possession.
And you know how he got their attention defensively? You can speak all you want to the kids about defense, but until they understand how important it is, he took the film of the Vanderbilt second half, and he said, take a look at that second half as you look at Billy Donovan, as you see them hustling defensively, Kentucky. He said, take a look at that second half. That's why we won the game defensively, and they have bought into his philosophy.
They were giving up over 70 points per game in non-conference play, 57 so far from the SEC, and you can see that Florida, as talented an offensive team as there is in this league, with just 1 field goal in the last 9 minutes.
Well, they lead the conference in offense. Florida. And right now, as you said, this is not Cupcake City holding them to 1 field goal.
Fitch follows his own miss and throws it back in.
And that's the versatility of Fitch. Yes, his mom, Ruby, can be proud of her son. He told me today, I'm not going to let her down. Listen to this place. I know tomorrow will be bedlam with the crowd and crazy. This is why I got 12 years old instead of 63.
He's got a mismatch over Bogans, but Daniels came back and helped block the shot.
They can't get the ball where they want to get the shots they want. Kentucky doing a great job defensively, mixing defenses.
Bogans with a game-high 11. Fitch has chipped in with 8, but again, it's the Kentucky defense, the early story. Bogans again, and he's got 13.
Former Damascus star made a wise decision staying in school, or he would have been a basketball vagabond. Alec Brazard and Omar Cook, Marcus Taylor, but he made a smart decision, keeping that jersey on that says Kentucky.
He has done it from three-point range. This time, he comes off a screen and knocks down the 17-footer.
There he is, coming off the little curl move, utilizing that screen effectively. Look at Fitch now, a little penetration, gets right into the 3-second area. Then he comes up with the offensive rebound. Good follow, nobody blocks him out.
14-point lead for Kentucky. Let's bring in Andy Katz. Andy?
Well, guys, this is where senior leadership will really come in. During the huddle, you could see Brett Nelson really very animated, joining Billy Donovan, really getting on the teammates to really get going here, to settle down. And you can just read the body language that these players, especially these seniors, need to gather this team so this lead does not get away from them. This deficit doesn't get away from them.
Well, you know, Andy, as opposed to, let's say, North Carolina, who we see tomorrow, they have leadership with seniors versus just a club loaded with freshmen and young players like Matt Doherty has. This club's got the perfect blend. Young people and old people. As you look at the shooting breakdown here.
Only 25% for the Gators. Nelson misses a 3.
That was not even close, man. That was Brick City, USA. What a first half by Kentucky. Executing offensively, defending, and beating a really quality team here in the first half.
And this is the way they've been winning the last few weeks. You look at some of their margins of victory as Fitch knocks down another 3, and they've been pounding teams.
If they make the 3, they are almost impossible to beat. When they have lost, they have shot poorly in those 3 losses from the trifecta.
Nelson just got the ball down on the hardwood in the nick of time, or it would have been another turnover. Roberson for 3. No. Florida 6 for 26 from the field in this game.
That's like 23%. You know, in their losses, they were 2 for 22 versus Virginia from the 3. They were only 3 for 18 versus Louisville.
Fitch, step back jumper, and the rebound to David Lee. Florida's got to cut into this deficit before the end of the half.
And Kentucky's done a great job defensively in transition to take away the running game, not allowing any fast break opportunities.
Something that Florida thrives on. Hamilton can't turn the corner on Bogans. Listen to the crowd appreciating the D. Bonner inside, tip no good. Kentucky ball.
Bonner's got to deliver. They're looking for their senior to step up. That's why Duke got beat on a roll by Florida State. Duhan and Dante Jones were 3 for 17. Your seniors have to step up on the road. Help the young kids.
Billy Donovan doing some serious pacing over on that Florida sideline. He's going to go back to his bench again. Bogans.
What passing. What passing.
What a block by Lee. It was Bogans to Daniels to Hayes, but David Lee, the sophomore from St. Louis, comes up with a block.
Yeah, Lee shows his versatility. Good player, can utilize either hand because they did a great job moving the basketball.
Lee with his offhand, it will drop. Jim Burr's got a foul on Daniels.
That's one of the strong suits of Kentucky that doesn't get recognized a lot. Dave Odom talked about it. Their great passing ability of all their big people.
More great college basketball action comes your way tomorrow night as Rivalry Week presented by Nobel continues. It's number 6 Louisville. Take it on Cincinnati The Cardinals, and this caused much consternation here in Lexington, leapfrogged over the Wildcats in the national rankings this week. Also, North Carolina and Duke. Dick will be in Durham tomorrow night. It's a one-sided game. Favor Kentucky right now.
Up on the Mass Mutual halftime report, 2 other top 4 teams in action, but boy, number 7 defense, the drought they keep putting on these teams are remarkable.
Everything is challenged. Every pass, every cut, every shot. This is an outstanding defensive team, and they've really set the tone for their offense. And Keith Bogan's an outstanding player. The maturity he's showing as a senior, very valuable.
Well, Jay's right. Outstanding is about the only way to describe this performance here tonight. Super Tuesday, presented by Dollar Rent-A-Car. This all, of course, a part of Rivalry Week presented by Novell. This is a great rivalry in the SEC, but right now Kentucky just smothering them again. How good are these Cats?
Well, they're shooting the 3 so well, 7 for 12. I think, I'll tell you how good they are. If I had to put a Final Four together right now, they would be one of my Final Four. I really believe that. No matter what happens here the rest of tonight, I love what this team brings. I love their defensive ability. And remember, at tournament time, the game becomes more half-court oriented, and that favors their style of play. And defense becomes a dominant factor in the tournament, and that's a strong suit. Kentucky's one of my teams that I'm picking to go to the Final Four.
Bogans muscles his way through but misses the shot, so you don't leave us hanging. Who are your other 3?
Well, I haven't decided yet.
All right, think about that at halftime.
I need a few weeks.
Nelson and Daniels with a block. This is an unbelievable defensive performance by Kentucky.
Well, as Jay just said, they challenge on every shot. They take pride now. They really take pride in the defensive effort. Watch the rotation over by Daniels with the block shot. He's got great size for a guy that can play on the perimeter. So look at Matt Bonner having a tough night here. There's a lot of frustration on the Florida players right now.
Can't even get the ball in. In the last 12 minutes, the Florida Gators have 1 made field goal and a total of only 6 points.
And it certainly wasn't for lack of preparation. You should have seen Billy Donovan before the game. Andy Katz and I were by the locker room. His preparation was incredible, Andy. It was unbelievable.
Coming up on the Mass Mutual halftime report, we're going to send it back to the studio. Reese Davis and Jay Billis will look into the game you saw earlier tonight on ESPN2, another one of the top teams in the country in Pittsburgh, taking on the school where Billy Donovan once played, Providence, an A-10 showdown in D.C., and a look at the UConn women's ongoing streak.
Well, you know, you mentioned Connecticut. Certainly want to send our best wishes for a speedy recovery to Jim Calhoun. Jim's a fighter and a competitor, and we know that he's going to beat that disease, prostate cancer. Jim, we're all praying for you. We're all cheering for you. That reminds me also tonight, I met a coach here, John Hop Brown, from West Carter High School in Olive Hill, Kentucky, battling brain cancer, and he's beating that big time, and he's coaching tomorrow in the state championships here.
Do you believe it?
Bad play.
Do you believe it?
That's a bad play, though. You're a veteran player. You never flip the ball under the basket. You just don't do that. That's a no-no.
All set up, though, by the fact that, again, Florida couldn't even get the ball in bounds.
Oh, look at this.
By Bogan.
This is humiliation. John City. It's an embarrassment. Number 1. Billy knows what a way to be number 1. Coming into Rupp Arena. This Cats team is for real, my friend.
Kentucky ball again.
Never an easy shot. Oh, he's going to get a TO. No, he's 40 seconds. He's going to let it run out. It's embarrassing time.
He keeps calling timeouts. He keeps changing players. Nothing is working. Now we got a foul going against Kentucky.
They're certainly not going to call the timeout now, but it's really gotten embarrassing the last few minutes. Look at Billy sweating. He has a great sense of pride. There's the pass to Hayes. Nobody rotates back. I mean, look at the bad pass here. You're going to see this. This is a bad play. You flip it right under the basket. That's an easy layup. I could catch that and score, Mr. Schulman.
Well, they said they weren't going to be intimidated or rattled by the atmosphere here in Rupp, and they do have 3 senior starters like Nelson, Hamilton, Bonner. They've been here before, but I don't know that any of these guys have ever faced a defense like this.
Or a crowd like this. Hey, let me tell you this. We might as well start talking about everything. Okay, you're going to ask me, what do I think of LeBron James?
Are you saying it's over now?
I mean,
you're saying it's over?
Well, don't look too good. I can tell you that right now.
That free throw snaps a 15-0 run for Kentucky. You know that Billy Donovan is frustrated when he's not growling and pacing and stomping. And he's been just sitting down for the last couple of minutes. What's a coach to do?
I'll tell you one thing. He'll get there in halftime and get their attention. And the first 10 minutes is certainly going to mean a great deal in terms of trying to get it to about 8 or 10. You know, I was telling the story about this John Hopp Brown, a beautiful man. I met his family. His daughter is the leading free throw shooter in Division I in America for Morehead State, shooting 94% candy. And we want to wish Hopp Brown all the best. He's going to the Duke Hospital on February 11th, but he's coaching here tomorrow morning, and he's battling a brain tumor. Man, I could just simply tell you, I met his family tonight, and they dedicated and named the floor on his high school, West Corner High School for him. A great, great guy. Billy's got so much pride. I'll tell you one thing. He's a beautiful guy. What he has done in Florida is amazing. What he has done for that program, the achievements there, going to the championship game in 2000.
They've accomplished things under him in the last 6 years they had never accomplished before in their history, including being #1. Just as of yesterday, this is the first time the Florida Gators have ever taken the floor as the #1 team in the country, and it sure doesn't look like it's going to last very long.
Well, maybe being #1's a nightmare. Just ask Mark Gottfried in Alabama.
Yep.
They went 9-0 in #1 before losing to Utah, and now they're down to 22. They came back and got a win against LSU, and Maurice Williams finally was Maurice Williams.
Duke was 1, Arizona was 1, Florida right now, but it's Kentucky looking like the best team in the country.
They're looking phenomenal. They have played fantastic. Kentucky has been awesome, baby, with a capital A. Their fans have been awesome, baby. The environment's been awesome, baby. It's been a brilliant performance by Tommy Smith and the Kentucky Wildcats.
Let's go to Andy Katz.
Tell me, how effective was it switching defenses on Florida tonight?
Well, you know, it shut them down. We were able to do some switching. I thought we went with a smaller lineup, and that was a big key. And I think it confused them a little bit, kind of took away they're very effective in their half-court man-to-man offense, so I thought that created some confusion for them.
Well, good luck in the second half. Great first half. Let's go back to Dan.
All right, Andy, confusion to say the least. A dominant performance by Kentucky, leading by 23 at the break. Mass Mutual halftime report coming up with Reese and Jay. Guys?
Dan? One field goal in nearly 14 minutes of play. Glad to have you with us on the Mass Mutual halftime report. Florida has had a wonderful winning streak. They have been very impressive throughout. But I think I've seen a team that could claim to be the #1 team in the country in the first half.
They just steamrolled them. And I think Kentucky really takes their character from their defense. It's a team that their offense flows from their defense. They wind up scoring off some turnovers that they get. But I think all of the aggressiveness they throw onto the defensive end winds up benefiting them on the offensive end. And, I mean, for crying out loud, Bogans and Fitch outscored Florida all by themselves. They had 26 points together in that first half.
Their defense is just stifling. You wonder how anyone ever gets a field goal against that defense. Kentucky up 45-22 at the break. Coming up on the Mass Mutual halftime report, the team that perhaps would have been #1 put to the test against Providence. We will talk about that and also talk about the elite clubs in the country.
ESPN's presentation of Rivalry Week is presented by Novell and in part by BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Many a year. They all helped out. They played the passing lanes, and they did it against a super offensive basketball team. The crowd was into it. Everybody was into it. All the players, the coaches.
Look at those numbers. Florida 20%, 6 of 30 in the first half. Kentucky got 15 from Bogans, 11 from Fitch. They won an incredible run at the end of the first half where Florida went about 13 minutes making only 1 field goal.
Well, the Florida starters had 16 total points. Bonner, and you take a look right down here. Look at this. The Florida starters had 16 points down here. Unbelievable. And the bottom line is also when Bonner, you look at Bonner and you look at Lee, they didn't score a point. They didn't score a point.
Let's go to Andy Katz. Andy?
Well, out of the Florida locker room at halftime, the concern from the coaches was that their post guys played soft. They got frustrated, and that's why the team was shooting too quick on threes. They said if they have any chance to get back in this game, it'll catch here. You got to start inside and then out.
Look at Andy with the hands.
You see the catch?
Microphone in the right hand, basketball in the left.
Andy, great hands.
Left hand.
I know you can't shoot the ball, though, Andy. Great hands, Andy. Andy, I know you got great hands, but you can't shoot the rock, baby, because I embarrassed you in Madison Square Garden.
I wasn't even looking.
Hey, when you're physical That really adds so much to your club. That's why Pittsburgh's had an outstanding year.
Daniels and Lee got a piece of that. Loose ball comes to Florida. What do you imagine other than the big guys? I mean, did Billy Donovan peel the paint off the wall at halftime? What do you think he said to his team?
Not really. I think he's got to come out and say, look, let's play this game in segments. And I think the one thing they got to try to do is utilize the three-point line to effectiveness. However, Kentucky on the perimeter has really locked up any good looks at the basket. You know, Bonner in the last 3 games has only taken 7 shots or less. They got to get him more involved offensively. He's too good, too talented.
A minute into the second half, and a huge lead for Kentucky against the #1 team in the country, the Florida Gators. Hamilton trying to shake Bogans. And Bogans almost knocks it away from Walsh.
They match up, they get right in your face. They never give you a good look.
Nelson can't get the shot off. Florida turns it over again, and Bonner is called for the foul.
They never allow you to get a good look. They absolutely get in your face. You take a look right here on the inside. Now take a look right. They try to reverse the mess. Freeze it right here. See how they come right up in your face? They come right up into your face. They never give you a good look. Look at the hustle right there, Bogans. I tell you, he has really played a total consummate game today, offensively and defensively.
You know, Dick, I know you have sung the praises of Tubby Smith many times as a coach, but they lost 3 games before New Year's. They also had Barber out with a broken hand, Daniels ineligible for 4 games, Hawkins ineligible for 7 games. They were allowing a lot of points, and this coach, Tubby Smith, turned this team around over Christmas and New Year's and has made them into one of the dominant teams in America right now.
Well, you and I sat in the office with Tom Izzo. And what did Tom Izzo tell us? If I had to write 5 names down and the 5 best coaches in America, one of them would be Orlando Tubby Smith. And Tom Izzo knows a little bit about coaching. That's what his peers think of him. He's a fierce competitor. And there's his wife, Donna. She gave me a gift today. I got a kiss from her as well.
A tie-up, and Kentucky's going to get it back.
The body language is not very good when you look at the body language right now of the Florida players. Sometimes, look at this double team right here. Look at this double team. They're right all over you. I mean, they are coming after you with great tenacity.
Bogans finds Estel just 2 for 2 in 9 minutes in the first half because of foul trouble. But the way Bogans and Fitch played, Kentucky didn't need any offense from Estel.
Also, they've been doubling up on the inside.
Bogans for 3. Hayes for the loose ball, tries to run it down, and it's out of bounds to Florida.
That's the first hurried shot that Bogans has taken. The first shot that wasn't within the realm of their offense.
We have had just a single point scored so far in the second half, and that was by Florida. For more on Chuck Hayes, back to Andy Katz.
We're talking to the staff before the game. They said they implored with Chuck Hayes to be that tough guy for them. In fact, they said they give him 6 assignments. Everyone else gets 2.
Dick talked about his game against Notre Dame. 17 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks. All career highs against the Irish.
Seems every game somebody steps up. You got Fitch gets 35 against North Carolina. Then you got Estel goes off for a big game. Great back cut, diagonal pass, a breakdown defensively by Florida. I mean, Florida really with a poor performance here tonight, offensively and defensively. A lot of breakdown.
You can see this Kentucky team enjoys defense and enjoys passing as much as they enjoy scoring individually.
Well, you know, the defensive effort now becomes contagious, and really now they enjoy playing on the other side as well. Now look at this. Defense goes into offense. There it is. Defense to offense. Defense to offense. Play good defense, you get rewarded. And look at this. They reward you with the big blue. There's smiles. There's chemistry. Give them some love, Tubby. Give them some love.
Matt Walsh, the foul, his second. Fitch will go to the line.
Take a look at the way he fills the lane, the good 45-degree angle. We're going to see right now, we're going to watch a back cut. Watch the back cut right here. Freeze it. See right here. He's going off that screen, going over the top, and they got themselves a layup. There it is, the back cut. No communication. You have to communicate on that screen. You got to say back screen, talk to one another. Mr. Schulman, I'll tell you, we are seeing an A+ performance. I mean, Dr. Schulman, give out some A's.
Well,
He's going to cut that haircut.
That's right.
He's cutting that hair.
Shave it off.
He said, I got to shave it off. Cut it off.
Well, you know, I was just thinking back to the tournament in Washington when Notre Dame did Maryland and Texas back-to-back, that maybe that was the most impressive thing that a team has done all season. But given the opposition tonight, I don't know that anybody's had a more impressive game of basketball than the Kentucky Wildcats are having right here tonight.
Well, certainly being at home is certainly a big plus. And Florida was really set up big time, coming in #1 in America. I was teasing Billy before the game. I said how beautiful it is. You're named #1. And the bottom line is, where do you have to go to play down at Rupp Arena against a team that's been on fire?
Well, Kentucky's going to have to go back down to Gainesville, of course. Kentucky's already still got a couple of games coming with Georgia. You and I will be back here a week from tonight for Georgia and Kentucky, a part of Super Tuesday. But right now, this has been an absolute mess for Florida since about the 10-minute mark of the first half.
Well, you know, Dan, Kentucky out of the next 10 games, 4 of them are against Florida and Georgia.
But you look at their non-conference schedule, playing Notre Dame, Indiana, Virginia, Michigan State, Arizona State, Gonzaga. I mean, they're ready for these kinds of battles because of who they schedule.
Well, they should play those kind of teams. You're talking about one of the great programs in basketball. Finally, to Mr. Bonner on the inside. That's why you have over 1,800 wins and 13 Final Fours. And you look at 41 SEC championships, 23 SEC tournament titles, 10 seasons with 30 or more wins.
People have said, and a lot of them here in Lexington, and they're right, backdoor got Hawkins wide open. This is getting out of hand.
Well, they're not playing any defense.
Yeah.
They are not. The effort is not there at all by Florida. The effort is not there at all, and that's not a Billy Donovan kind of basketball team. He's got to be very, very upset with the effort of his kids. Their backs against the wall, instead of fighting and clawing and scrapping like he did in his career, they are sort of backing away.
UK more than doubling up the #1 Florida Gators, making it look easy at both ends of the floor.
Wow, wow, 52-25.
Rivalry lines are drawn. The emotions are high. And you must choose, which side are you on?
Well, the side to be on is definitely the side of the Kentucky Wildcats here tonight. A stifling defensive performance, holding Florida to 25 points in just under 25 minutes here tonight. A 27-point lead for the Wildcats.
And they've had very few open opportunities, all because of the defensive pride.
Bonner, and he is fouled under the basket. You know, Dick, over the years in the SEC, there have been challenges offered by other programs. Dale Brown at LSU contested Kentucky's supremacy in the
Arkansas.
SEC. Nolan Richardson at Arkansas. A lot of teams for a year or two try to shove Kentucky off the top of the mountain, but nobody's been able to do it for very long. Well, look at all those banners. I mean, that's the legacy of Kentucky in the SEC and nationally.
Well, as I talked a little bit earlier about their 1,800 wins and all their trips to the Final Four, their national championships, SEC titles. Think about what Tubby's achieved in his short tenure here. This is only his 6th year. He's got 3 SEC tournament titles. He wins the national championship. He goes to the Elite 8. He wins or shares 4 SEC titles. They should build a monument for him instead of complaining.
Yep.
Every time they lose a game, it's like the end of the world.
And he's the coach of the only team in America that Dick Vitale will tell us on the record is his pick to go to the Final Four. The other 3 you're leaving blank.
I'm leaving them blank right now. I'm going to tell you it's too early, but I love this Kentucky team, and I loved them even when I saw them get beat by Louisville.
Hawkins inside to Daniels. Look at the passing at the offensive end.
And that's what Davey Odom was talking about after he played them. Their unselfishness, their movement in the basketball, and the number of players they have that know how to pass the basketball.
Lee into Bonner when the jump hook is there.
About time to get the ball inside. You know, against South Carolina, they had 34 field goals, and 22 of them were attributed to an assist. And they don't have one guy in the top 10 in the SEC in assists. Right. But as a team, they're one of the top teams in the league.
They got 5 guys averaging at least 2 assists per game. Hawkins calling for it.
What a different team in terms of their chemistry, their togetherness. We're not talking about AU equals gold either, or PB equals lead. See, I do my thing. I passed.
That's very good.
Hey, I passed chemistry.
That pass off the head of Hawkins inside. Tubby Smith's got 4 bench guys in there right now.
H2O was water. Give me some points. What a struggle. Every offensive offensive opportunity is basically a struggle. There's Roberson with a great drive. Almost went to Duke, but they signed Dockery, and that sort of eliminated Duke in his mind. And Billy Donovan really excited about Roberson. Billy Donovan's a guy with a lot of pride. This club's going to have to bounce back strong against Alabama, but they're at home, and the rowdy reptiles will help them in that environment.
Let's get an update from Andy Katz. Andy?
The concerns from Kentucky's coaching staff was maintaining their focus in the second half, and we're seeing a little bit of that right now. We'll see if Florida can sustain it.
And such a big lead, sometimes hard to maintain that intensity, but if your coach has the fire in his eyes like Tubby Smith has, I don't think it'll be too tough to stay intense.
Well, you're not going to stay close, Andy, if you don't guard. And Florida is absolutely not guarded. There's no defensive effort at all. This club is doing anything they want.
Look at this.
It's a little fast break layup drill. It's embarrassment time. It's humiliation. Where is the pride in these Florida Gators? Where's the pride of Billy Donovan? Billy Donovan played with intense pride, and I don't see him right now out of his Gator players.
Another turnover.
This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing for number one. This has got to get a timeout. I mean, Billy Donovan was such a fighter and scrapper, and that's why he is where he's at today. But I don't see that in the body language of his players. They're feeling sorry for themselves, and you can't feel sorry for yourselves.
It is a romp right now for Kentucky.
If the only obstacles you ever encounter are speed bumps, if you've never used mud as toothpaste, if the only thing you ever shred is cheese, get out of the way. Everybody's talking up the quad-rudder Vincent 500 from Suzuki. And now that a brand new Vincent with the manual transmission has arrived, who knows when they'll stop. The Suzuki Vincent. Get out of the way.
The well has run dry. So, to choose a gatherer, these males use a highly sophisticated method of selection.
These guys are my buddies.
Hey, buddy. Chop, chop, Casanova.
There you go.
Grab a rock.
How do you...
This country blows.
Jackie Chan, Owen Wilson.
I call that one my Kung Pao chicken.
Shanghai Nights, rated PG-13. See you Friday.
At BASF, we don't make the water scooter, we make it lighter. We don't make a lot of the products you buy, we make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
Let's say this is you, and this is your auto insurance company. You've always gotten along okay, but let's say this is Allstate. Ooh, looks better than what you got now, huh? Well, qualified drivers who call Allstate for a free auto quote can get a company this good for this kind of price, maybe less. The choice is pretty simple, don't you think? So call Allstate to see what you can save. Just one more way the right hands make all the difference.
Tonight on SportsCenter, rivalry night in the NBA. Can MJ sink the Cavs again? While these adversaries face off in Indy. And with Mooch in Motown, did someone get the shaft? SportsCenter after the game on ESPN.
60-31, Kentucky mauling the Florida Gators here tonight. The Gators stay as the #1 team of the country. It is going to be an extremely short one. Kentucky charging up the rankings. Louisville charging up the rankings. They're #6 right now, and they're on your TV tomorrow night against Cincinnati as rivalry week presented by Nobel continues. Then the second game at 9 Eastern. ACC Wednesday presented by Staples, by Patrick, Dick Vitale, North Carolina, and Duke.
I'll tell you, Duke and North Carolina, those jerseys say it all, man. There'll be so much pride. Andy, we talk about Louisville and Cincinnati. Cincinnati, Bobby Huggins wouldn't let him use the locker room. He said the locker room's for champions, and you guys aren't playing like champions. Are they going to be ready for the Cardinals?
No question, and here's a good debate going on in this state, is should Louisville have been ranked ahead of Kentucky? Even though they beat Kentucky, the question for you two is how good is Louisville, and should they legitimately be a top-4 team? And one other thing, if Kentucky becomes a #1 team, and I think they will at some point, it would be the first time ever since the Field of 64 was expanded in 1985 that 3 teams from the same conference would be #1.
Tells you about the depth, and tells you about the unbelievable quality of the SEC. As far as Louisville goes, Andy, there's no doubt they won 15 in a row. They won on a road in some tough environments, and they lost to Purdue, a good Purdue team that's doing a great job for Gene Cady this year with a good backcourt and Lowe and Dean. They lost that game, but they didn't have Marvin Stone. With Stone and Gaines, right now they have not been beaten yet. In fact, Dick Weiss told me, the fine writer from New York today, he voted #1 for Louisville.
He was the guy, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's Louisville, of course, because they're in Conference USA, not as tough a league. They haven't played the caliber of schedule that Kentucky has. And yes, they did beat Kentucky handily, but right now, Dick, it's hard to imagine anybody's playing better than these Cats.
You know, Billy, I was talking a little bit earlier, has such pride as a coach. And what's really going to be disappointing, Joe, I shall leave them challenging him on every shot, is that his kids are not responding to a challenge. They're going through that little pout and sulk where they're really, really feeling sorry for themselves.
I wanted to know.
I had H&R Block double-check last year's tax return. Free.
More than 500,000 people have taken the free double-check challenge at H&R Block. Those that overpaid got an average of $1,300 more.
They found over $2,000 my CPA missed.
I got 1,000.
It's my money.
I want it back.
It's your turn. See if we can help you get more back. Take the free H&R Block double-check challenge.
I'd like you to meet two special athletes. People said they wouldn't amount to squat. But with the Bud Light ESPN Quarter Bouncers Tournament, even these guys can be champions by competing in a nationwide tournament, finally heading to Las Vegas to become national champions. Watch ESPN's Big Monday.
ESPN's Thursday Night Hockey. It is a rivalry born in bitterness that has created champions. The Colorado Avalanche, the Detroit Red Wings. 8 p.m. Eastern, Thursday on ESPN.
IBM Security.
And now, the high-flying adventures of Captain Zappy.
We all have days when things just don't seem right. Taffies will keep you flying right. Have a taffy day!
It's super good!
If your double-pane insulated window is impossible to clean, if it's fogged over or there's moisture between the glass, call Aero Glass. If your entry door is broken or is difficult to open or close, call Aero Glass. For custom shower enclosures or replacements, call Aero Glass. For screen replacements, mirrors, plexiglass, or decorative glasswork, call Aero Glass. Aero Glass, 608 North Cunningham in Urbana. Call them.
All over #1 Florida here at Rupp Arena tonight. That is not a misprint. That is 60-31. Billy Donovan's team has been outworked, out-hustled, and outclassed here at Lexington tonight, and in danger of suffering the worst defeat, the most lopsided defeat in the Donovan era in Florida. And I would imagine, Dick, one of the most lopsided defeats any #1 team has ever suffered if this one continues going as it's going right now.
After being named #1, you know, and you're looking at Billy's club the last 3 years, plus this year, they have led the SEC in scoring. Last year, 80.5 a game. The year before, 80.9, and the year before that, 83.8. And this year, they're leading it again today, but yet they have only 31 points here. But Billy Donovan will get these kids back. They're too talented, and they got too many good athletes, and they're too well coached. They got great fans down in Gainesville. They will be tough to be taken out by Alabama on Saturday. They will come back, this club.
They just keep turning it over, and Kentucky keeps making them pay at the other end. Not this time, and now it's Roberson leading the Gators back.
You know, you and I saw the game with Louisville, and you would never have thought that Kentucky would be in this position to win their 11th in a row when we witnessed that second half. But good coaching can get people back, especially if you got some good players, and they have so many good players, Florida.
But El Colas the foul away from the ball.
You know what they've done here tonight? They are really looking at one another, hoping that somebody would have given them a spark. They're waiting for somebody to lift them, and there was nobody to lift them tonight. They've been out of, there's no spirit. Usually watch this club play. They play with a lot of energy, a lot of spirit, a lot of enthusiasm, and that has not existed. And you credit that to Kentucky.
Justin Hamilton one of the senior starters, and all three of them are on the bench right now, by the way. He was the guy who tried to vocally rally the troops coming out before the second half, but it has been a replay of the first half for Florida.
Kentucky's been able to do anything they want, offensively, defensively.
Every loose ball, every second opportunity, every hustle play is being made by the Cats.
They made this look like Cupcake City, my friend, and you and I thought we were going to have a mail-out smasher.
Oh, everybody did.
Yes, sir. We thought it was going to be a barn burner.
First time in 24 years a #1 team comes here to Lexington to face Kentucky. And they sure haven't looked like #1 or number anything here tonight.
Well, you got a lot of the media people from all over here. Malcolm Moran of USA Today. You got Dick Weiss here. You got all the guys. Pat Forty from down in Louisville. Talked to a bunch of writers before the game. It's a happy bunch here at Kentucky.
Number 4 on Estill. He will leave, and Chuck Hayes will check back in. Even with Estill playing limited minutes, it's been one-sided tonight in favor of Kentucky.
Just reminiscing now back in the middle 90s when they were dominant. I mean, they just won 3 national titles in a row. Pitino wins it in 96. Rupp does. 97, they go to overtime. Lose to Arizona without Derek Anderson. That kid's going to be a great player. Anthony Roberson is going to be a great player if he wisely stays in school and doesn't get any wild thoughts about going to the NBA.
One of the best 6th men in America already, and he's just a freshman. Nice steal there by Walsh. And look at this. Oh, what a pass. Back to Walsh from Roberson.
And that's some of the Florida that we have seen earlier this year. We have not seen any of what Florida's capable of doing here tonight.
The 3 senior starters remain on the bench. It's the 2 freshmen, Roberson and Walsh, trying to make this respectable for the Gators.
That's what it's about now, fighting for respectability.
Content to run some clock right now. Fitch lost it. Give credit to the guys on the floor right now for Florida. They are working hard, and they get it back on the arrow. Super Tuesday here in Lexington, all a part of Rivalry Week presented by Novell. Kentucky and Florida, one of the best rivalries in the SEC. Dan Shulman along with Dick Vitale and Andy Katz, but it has not been a big rivalry here tonight. The way that Kentucky has smothered Florida, in danger of giving Florida under Billy Donovan its most lopsided defeat, its lowest scoring game, and it may be the most humiliating 40 minutes that they have suffered. This is the #1 team in the country. And Billy Donovan says, hey, the rankings don't mean that much. We may be, we probably aren't. Well, I think right now they know they've got some work to do to get to Kentucky's level. Walsh looking for the foul. Nobody's buying it. He puts it up again.
Well, at least he stays with it. He comes back, battles a little, shows a little toughness there. And that's what you want to see out of kids. You don't mind kids getting beat, but at least playing with a little pride.
Yeah, Nelson back into the game for Florida. Hamilton as well. It's a 6-0 run for the Gators. Their best sustained stretch of the night.
Kentucky trying to take some time off the clock and some time out. They don't want to become too conservative. You know, I like to sing the praises of some unsung heroes. I should look at Tubby Smith. Kids that don't get a lot of recognition. Willie Green of Detroit, for example. He had 43 points. That's right, against Illinois, Chicago. Then he came back with 31 against Western Kentucky. Then also, what about against Howard? Maryland Eastern Shores, Thomas Trotter. He pumped in 42 points, 7 trifectas. Terrence Woods, I bet you didn't know this, of Florida A&M. He had 11 of 16 three-pointers for 38 points in a win over North Carolina A&T. What about Vermont? Yes, sirree. Vermont 6'9" sophomore, Mr. Taylor Coppenrath at 38 points. Cedric Banks had 33 for Illinois, Chicago against Wright State. I'm telling you one thing, and Stephen F. Austin's coach, Danny Casper, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
He's unbeaten in Southland Conference. These guys never get on TV. See, you guys, we recognized you, man. We gave you national publicity because you deserved it and because we got a blowout.
Well, how about the Bracket Buster Saturday coming up in about 2.5 weeks, when a lot of the so-called mid-majors, some of the great programs in the country who don't get much attention, will get a chance to improve their RPI, play against some good teams.
Nice play by Walsh.
Get a little attention as well. Walsh to lead. Great hustle by Fitch on the defensive end. 5 against 4 right now. That's why Lee's got the dunk. Fitch was sitting on press row.
Kentucky getting a little complacent out there, getting a little bit where they're playing with the lead, and the crowd's not going to stand for it. Oh, yeah, they are going to stand for it. They're going to stand and let them know about it.
8-0 run for Florida, but still a monumental deficit at 21. Kamara, Lee stays with him. Follow is good. What an effort under the basket by Chuck Hayes.
Hayes is just a warrior. He's one of those guys, not spectacular, just steady. That Florida's got a little bounce to it. Got a little bounce to it. That bounce was not there. There was no energy.
There's energy for Chuck Hayes. What a drive down. Walsh just pulls him down.
No doubt about it. Walsh going to pull down. He looks like WrestleMania with that headband on. He looks like a Hulk Hogan move.
He's not too happy about the haircut he may have to get. 23-point lead for the Cats.
I just wish I had his hair.
Timeout on the floor. That meeting is 5 minutes.
Is it safe? Yeah, but hurry. This better be quick. Come on, come on, come on. Whoa, there's no way we can beat Dollar's rates.
Hey, how are ya? The meeting's starting. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm coming. Yes.
Dollar.com?
Yeah, from now on. I can't afford us.
When it's your money you're spending, log on for our lowest rates at dollar.com.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side?
Rainbows are visions, but only illusions.
And rainbows have nothing to hide. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection.
The lovers, the dreamers, and me.
When I first met my girlfriend, I didn't know what to say or what to give her. Now, I've gotten better at both.
A 3-stone diamond earring and pendant set from Kay means 2 things. Every diamond is hand-selected, and she'll absolutely love it.
Every kiss begins with K.
Subway's changed my life. I've got more energy, and I need it with a wife at home. Now there's plenty to take care of. I have a yard to keep, things to build. I work up quite an appetite. Now Subway has low-fat sauces, like honey mustard on turkey. I love the new me.
Subway, eat fresh!
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is presented by Dollar Rent-A-Car. When it's your money, log on to dollar.com for our lowest rates. And in part by hotjobs.com. Check out new jobs daily at hotjobs.com, a Yahoo service. Onward, upward.
Onward and upwards. And the Kentucky Wildcats gone tonight, a 23-point lead over the Florida Gators. Rivalry week presented by Novell. Don't forget, tomorrow night it's NBA Wednesday over on ESPN2. Allen Iverson of the 76ers taking on the New Jersey Nets, who are 33-15. Coverage begins with NBA shoot-around at 7 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale and Andy Katz here at Rupp Arena in Lexington. The fans had to wait 24 years for a #1 team to come to this building. The only other time it happened, the building opened in '76. Indiana was here as the #1 team in the country in '79. And Kentucky beat them. And they're on their way to knocking off another #1 team here tonight. 62-39. Now let's bring in Andy Katz while we have a minute. Andy, who doesn't like to sit still for very long, was up in Indianapolis last night, the first meeting of the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. And Andy was given a little exclusive access. What'd you see up there, Andy?
Well, there was a class. It was called Bracket 101. I was looking for Digger to be taking notes with me. He wasn't there. The class was about how to fill out the bracket and some of the new wrinkles they're going to try to put in there. And one of them is they're really going to look, you'll like this, Dick, at senior-laden teams when they lose late in the season, especially like Butler last season. In fact, there were like about 12 Butler protesters there trying to wonder why they didn't get last season when they had 25 wins. So they're going to give them a little bit of a break if they lose a late game.
They got a raw deal last year. Said it then. They beat Indiana and won 25 games. I hope and pray we don't see a team from the mid-majors get left out this year because of mediocrity by a team in a so-called highly visible conference.
Andy, this early, do they do a mock bracket and start putting together their top seeds?
Well, what they do is they do a mock bracket, but not with these teams. They just go through the process. to make sure they all understand it. There's 2 new members of the selection committee. One other thing I want to throw back at Dick and see how he feels about this. Jim Livengood, the Arizona athletic director, told me they're going to really look closely at teams that have a sub-500 record and a high major, even more so this season, because there's so much parity. It's hard to justify that if it happens, even in the SEC, if a team were to be 7-9 or something like that in a high major.
I say amen to that. I'll tell you, talk about tomorrow, for example. We have North Carolina and Duke. North Carolina started off on fire. We saw them win the NIT. They now have 9 losses. They're getting to the desperate stage if the NCAA tournament is a goal of theirs. So tomorrow's game becomes a must almost with a 4-game losing streak going down to Duke. And what a place to try and get a win.
Pitch, no. And the rebound to Bonner. Well, while we were talking about the brackets, Dick was working on his, and we're pleased to announce he's put a second team into the Final Four, right?
Oh, yeah, I got a second team. This baby's academic right now. I mean, there's no way in the world, looking at the body language here, that Florida has a chance of coming back and winning this game. My second team to join Kentucky, I'm going west, my friends. And I know they lost to Stanford, where Mike Montgomery's done a marvelous job. But I'm going with Lute Olson and the Arizona Wildcats. Chalk City there for me. I'm going chalk. I'm going Arizona.
For the other 2, you'll have to wait. Maybe Mike will drag it out of you tomorrow night in Cameron, who the 3rd and 4th are.
Yeah, Mike Patrick might get it out of me. You know, I'm emotional, and whatever at the moment at that time, I might just come out and say it.
We know that.
But then I'm subject to change, so I'll wait other teams 2 weeks.
25-point lead for Kentucky. An outstanding defensive performance. They have been great defensively in SEC play. They've been better than great here tonight. Look at Haysbrook.
He's just
look at him work.
He's tenacious. Nice pass by Dreyer.
Up to Roberson. Fitch defending, and he's called for the foul.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be Alabama and having to play this Florida team in front of the Rowdy Reptiles this weekend. Mr. Gottfried's kids are going to see a different team than was witnessed on this floor here tonight.
Well, maybe the only team in America as hot as Kentucky right now, Louisville. And they'll take on Cincinnati tomorrow night at 7 Eastern as Rivalry Week presented by Novell continues on ESPN. And then it's ACC Wednesday presented by Staples. As Dick mentioned, he's going to be there for one of the great rivalries in college basketball. Even if one of the teams is down, it's North Carolina, it's Duke, and it's a big game for both, especially Carolina, as you just mentioned.
Well, you know, big game also for Duke coming off a loss to Florida State. They got to get their veteran players to really step up, especially Chris Duhon, who has not stepped up to play and give them the kind of leadership lately that they expect out of them.
Give me your thoughts on Louisville.
Well, Louisville 15 in a row. I mean, Rick Pitino in 2 years has done an amazing job. He's my mid-season coach of the year. I have mid-season player of the year, Kyle Korver, but now I'm telling you, the way Collison's coming on, and also TJ Ford. I don't know about you, Andy. I'm getting to love TJ Ford as the possible player of the year.
Well, here's what I asked you before the game. If I said pick one player to start your team from this season's college basketball players, who would it be? I said TJ Ford. Your answer?
I like TJ as well. I'll tell you why I like TJ. It starts with backcourt play, especially at the point guard, and he's a big-time leader there. And I'm going to love this guy, Roberson. I liked him the first time I looked at him and watched him play. He is a special, special talent.
A 20-point lead for Kentucky. It was 29 a few minutes ago, but this one has been academic really since about the 5-minute mark in the first half, when Kentucky went on a big run in Florida, went 13 minutes making only 1 field goal.
Well, you know, very complacent right now, playing with that big lead. Very tough to stay really focused as you look at Tubby.
Tubby's not complacent.
I'm just a big fan. Take a look at right now the scoring defense as you look at him right here. Unbelievable. First in the SEC.
Well, the New Year's resolution must have been to play better defense, and his kids have listened to him. One of the great mid-season changes that you've seen in a team this season.
And it wasn't a pleasant time as you look at Roberson again. He had 7 trifectas, as Jimmy Herrick about him, against Georgia. He had 7 in the second half. Look at the crowd. They get antsy, man. They want more.
Lead down to 17.
So at least they can take something positive, Florida, in the last few minutes. They came back with a little pride as they went through a stretch there where they really were embarrassing the way they were playing. They were feeling sorry for one another.
Well, there's a push inside that Estill got away with, and it gets Kentucky the ball back and a fresh 35. And no need to rush, but they do, and wave off the basket. There's a foul inside.
That's another great environment, by the way, when you go to Gainesville with those rowdy reptiles. Yep. Mr. Williams and certainly Dudley and company are going to find that out this weekend.
And Kentucky, remember, they've got to go down there. They close regular season play against Florida down in Gainesville. We are here at Rupp Arena in Lexington, a standing room only crowd of better than 23,000, enjoying this part of Rivalry Week presented by Novell. Dan Schulman, Dick Vitale, Andy Katz, and Kentucky showing why they are one of the best defensive teams in the country here tonight.
First half was the best defense I've witnessed in many a year, maybe a decade, for 20 minutes of play. As you look at the former head coach at Alabama, David Hobbs, sitting next to Tubby. They've coached together with J.D. Barnett at Virginia Commonwealth. J.D., a bright mind defensively, certainly affected them as well. Now he's an administrator down at Tulane. Tubby's got 9 consecutive NCAA berths. Lute Olson has the most, 18.
Disciplined investing. It's not about following the crowd. At T. Rowe Price, our independent research means we're not deceived by every market ripple, and we don't chase every fad. Over 70% of our mutual funds beat their 3-, 5-, and 10-year Lipper averages. We have the experience to know what works, and the insight to find real opportunity. T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence.
Hey, it's me. Listen, I'm at Office Depot, and Chuck here has some great ideas about how we can get better organized. You know, improve our work process, avoid stepping on each other's toes. Just stop doing the same job twice.
You're at Office Depot?
Yeah.
Office Depot sells office products to more of the world than anyone, so we know how to help you get better organized. Office Depot, what you need to know.
It's Howard.
Oh, Howard.
ESPN's The Season brings you sports from a different angle. They brought the ultimate prize to Hockeytown.
This is a big shift here.
Now see the Wings from a new perspective. On the road, off the ice. The Season, Detroit Red Wings, 8 Eastern Sunday on ESPN.
Tonight on SportsCenter, rivalry night in the NBA. Can MJ sink the Cavs again? While these adversaries face off in Indy. And with Mooch in Motown, did someone get the shaft? SportsCenter after the game on ESPN.
Chris Davis with you in the studio. UAB in Southern Mississippi in double overtime. Richard Jones misses the free throw. Dante Stigger's going to push it up for the Golden Eagles. And he'll find big Jasper Johnson, and Jasper delivers. 82-80. Southern Miss won it. They stormed the court, but if all the people there, they could have fit them all into a Volkswagen. Texas and Colorado are locked up late in the second half. The Buffs have already beaten Kansas at home, and now they're giving the number 3 Longhorns a tussle. We'll keep you up to date.
You do not want to be a highly ranked team. It seems you and I are going to have Texas at home against Oklahoma, part of Big Monday. 6 days from now. This was a huge game here on Super Tuesday, and Kentucky was more than up to the challenge here tonight. And Florida, the big problem for the first 30 minutes or so of this game, just shooting the ball, shooting the rock. Brought to you by Rolling Rock. Florida at 33% on the night. They were down at 20% early in the second half. They've really made the numbers more respectable here late, Dick, but the game was over a long time ago.
Yeah, it was totally out of control, out of hand. There's no doubt Kentucky totally dominant. You know, Colorado, by the way, at home, a very tough team on that home floor. Backdoor cut.
Walsh can't finish, no call.
Ricardo Patton's club. In fact, they lost a heartbreaker on about a 40-foot shot against Jim Harrod's club there. In fact, I believe that was the only loss at home.
You know, for the moment we walked in here tonight, an unbelievable atmosphere, great crowd, better than 23,000, great signs all over the place, most of them with your name, including one that says, Dickie V, tell LeBron James to come to UK. They've even got LeBron James sign up there.
One thing is LeBron James should be reinstated. I mean, there's no doubt that having that Hummer was a no-no because it just created an unbelievable element out there. Plus, flooding it was not good judgment. The bottom line is, should have waited till after the end of the season, but he deserves to be playing. What did the kid really do? He didn't commit a crime. I mean, read Sally Jenkins' article in the Washington Post. She did a great job about that. Don't get me started with that situation. There's the tip, there's the layup. He should be reinstated, Mr. Commissioner in Ohio. Let the kid finish and play. He gave back the jersey. We got athletes who commit crimes and they get standing ovations when they come back. What did the kid do? Somebody said, take 2 jerseys, I'll take the picture. He gave them back. He was wrong. He made a mistake. I'm 63 and I'm still making mistakes.
Christian Dreyer. Oh, what a swat by Marquise Estor.
I'll tell you one thing. Dreyer obviously is thinking a lot on the court. He's had so many injuries. So unfair to really evaluate him at this time because he hasn't had a chance really to get into the flow and feel himself. They're subbing. They're bringing them all in.
Tubby's going to call off the Dogs, or the Cats, as it were, as he brings in Stockton and Carrier and Azubuike and Cote and Barber off the bench. And what an ovation for these Kentucky starters.
Not a place where you want to come in as #1 in America. And Billy Donovan will echo that. We've said on the top of the show, reminiscent of the Super Bowl, defense versus offense. You saw what happened in the Super Bowl. Sapp prevailed. He and his buddies Lynch and that gang Brooks over Mr. Gannon and company.
Three-point basket. A 3 for Matt Walsh.
Walsh picking it up here in the second half. Yeah. Well, they got it under 20.
Look at it. Look at the bounce. That's the kind of bounce they had from the moment this game began.
They had that bounce when they strutted in here, and I spoke to them before the game as they walked into the building.
Florida's 14-game winning streak will come to a screeching halt. Kentucky's winning streak will go to 11. Rivalry night of the NBA coming up on SportsCenter tonight. Michael takes on the Cavs, and as you had hoped,
Mariucci.
As Tom Izzo had hoped.
Yes, Mariucci. Should have never got the raw deal he did out there with the 49ers. Shame on the 49ers for what he achieved, but they're going to love him in the Motor City.
Hey, by the way, Dick, with the new eruption zone here at Rupp Arena, down to our right where the students are, they took out seats, put in benches. They can fit more people into Rupp Arena. They've got the biggest crowd in the history of this building here tonight. 24,459.
And we had a chance to say we were here. My buddies today went on a tour at Three Chimneys Farm down here, saw Quinn Given, the horse. I saw all the Super Silver Charm. So you got to get into those horses, man.
I know.
I mean, those farms here in Lexington are absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Claiborne Farms and all of them. Calumet. Just a great, great place. C.M. Newton, I met his son out here today. It's just a great, great guy. Was the athletic director here, and he's the guy responsible for bringing Tubby Smith here.
There's Barber, baseline for the slam.
They're waiting for him to break loose. Came in with a great reputation out of junior college, had a broken hand. He was supposed to be one of the most influential players. All this Rupp crowd, they're feeling it, and they better give love to Tubby Smith. They better understand they got a special coach on that sideline. And this guy's special too. Jeremy Foley told me today, the AD, I am really fortunate because he is the best. He said he is the best. It's nice when your boss loves you. Does your boss love you?
I don't know.
I need some love from my boss. I need some love from my boss. I mean, Dan Steer, my guy David Miller, Jed Drake, Mr. Shapiro, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Bodenheimer, give me some love.
Dreyer knocks it down. Well, we'll see what Billy Donovan does with the Gators as he tries to get them to put this game behind them. They're home against Alabama and then Ole Miss, and there aren't many easy games in the SEC.
Hey, you talk about unbeaten teams right now. There aren't many in league play. Dayton is 7-0. Mr. Purnell doing a great job in the Atlantic 10. Yeah. Brown is 4-0 in the Ivy with Penn and Princeton unbeaten. The MEAC, you got South Carolina State 9-0. Gonzaga 7-0.
Well, we saw them earlier when they weren't playing that well. They're back up to their old tricks right now, the Zags.
Yes, sir. The West Coast, they're dominating out there. Mark Few's going to be one of those hot names with some jobs open, and there might be a job open on the West Coast.
Winning cures a lot, Dick.
Hey, Rupp, you made that sign up. You made that sign up. Look at that defense. Always trying to pop the ball loose.
Roberson slashes to the basket.
I just love him. I just love his game. He and Walsh are going to be special players at Florida.
Roberson, 18. He's the highest scorer in the game. Great balance for Kentucky tonight, but really the story, again, the defense of the Kentucky Wildcats as they pick up their 11th win in a row and knock off the top-ranked team in the country.
Hey, our colleague is here, Larry Conley, does a great job for us here. Former Wildcat, they introduced him. He's jumping with joy as well. Great performance by Kentucky. An A+ by Tubby Smith, the Wildcats, and all their fans here at Rupp. It's been unbelievable.
The final score really flatters the Florida Gators. Kentucky was up by 29 at one point. They beat Florida by a score of 70-55. Kentucky now the only unbeaten team in SEC play. Stay tuned for SportsCenter coming up here on ESPN with Dan Patrick and Carl Ravitch. For Dick Vitale, Andy Katz, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dan Schulman, and thanks for watching from Rupp Arena. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Number 1 goes down to defeat here in Lexington tonight.
They started off so brilliantly. 5-0. There was optimism, a dream of an NCAA tournament. They desperately need a win here tonight, and it will not be easy as Duke has absolutely dominated their opponents here.
A couple of lineup changes for you. Ewing starts at the point for Duke. They have been disappointed in Chris Duhon. And there's a turnover, the steal for North Carolina. Felton. McCants is not starting. McCants did not start the last game because they criticized his defense. And here are the Cadillac starting lineups for tonight. You see Noel Williams, Sanders, Felton, and Jack Emanuel, the defensive specials. Jones, Horvat, Sanders, Reddick, and Ewing for Duhon at the point. The 5 starting with Mike Krzyzewski.
Well, you know, Chris Duhon's really been struggling, not really providing the leadership that Mike Krzyzewski wants. So now he's going to try to motivate him by letting him sit a little bit, let him observe, and then hope to get the real Chris Duhon, who was voted preseason the most likely player of the year in the conference.
Williams, who has been hot lately, 24 and 22 in his last 2 outings. And there is David Noel, who was starting for McCants. Noel started in the last game, came through with a career-high 14 points and 8 rebounds. He's very good on defense and probably their toughest player.
Well, he's earned the right to start because of the effort he has given on the defensive end. They have not, as you said earlier, been happy with Rashad McCants, who's an offensive, absolutely explosive player, but he has not really played on the defensive end to what they really want.
Takes a lot of guts to bench not only your leading scorer, but one of the leading scorers in the ACC.
And especially when you've lost 4 in a row.
Yeah. 2 turnovers for Duke. Noel gives it off to Jawad Williams. He buries the jumper, and Carolina off to a quick 5-0 lead.
And that's the kind of start you have to get when you come into this building, because you know the Cameron Crazies are going to be loud and be into it. You want to try to quiet them down.
Dante Jones, they did a nice job of rubbing him off the screen, and Dante Jones knocks down a 3.
Mike, where was his shot against Florida State? He was 1 for 10. He and Duhon went 3 for 17 in that loss.
For the 2nd year in a row, they went down to Tallahassee and lost. Look at Noel driving inside. Can't hit it. Here comes Ewing on the run. Ewing. Got it. Tough shot.
What a big-time move. I got to meet his dad today in the lobby of the hotel at the Marriott. He said, my son is ready for this new challenge.
Tied at 5. Jawad Williams left wide open, and he buries the 3-point shot. (17 minutes, 36 seconds to go. First half of play from Cameron Indoor. Mike Patrick, Dick Vitale, our entire ESPN crew with you. Hot shooting so far. North Carolina's at 3 out of 4. Duke now 2 out of 3.
Nice start by North Carolina. Really got their big guy involved. Jawad Williams coming off 2 big games.
Felton pass a little too strong and another turnover. Dante Jones against Manuel, the best defensive player out there, and Dante Jones hits.
Well, he hits his first 2 shots, Mike. He went 1 for 10 in that loss to Florida State. He and Duhan were 3 for 17. They can't have that out of their veterans if they're going to really have a great year.
That was really after a hot streak where for 10 games he averaged nearly 19 points. Felton penetrates, and he'll draw the foul.
Like, how big is this game for North Carolina? You lose 4 in a row. You start the season off 5-0. You win the NIT. You beat Kansas. Things look great. They lose Sean May, and now they're in a situation where the dream of an NCAA berth really now becomes almost desperate.
Well, Dick, this game completes the first half of the ACC schedule. Now they have to play everybody again. If they lost this game, they'd be 2-6 in the conference. If you think, well, they'd be 2-6 in the next state, it's over.
Well, what you're saying is NIT.
Well, you're not even saying NIT. You're saying below 500 and goodbye.
Yeah, then you say play in the Summer League. But the bottom line is they feel things could turn around, especially if they get Sean May back. They're optimistic. There's a chance they can get him back latter part of the year. And in the next 8 games in conference play, 5 of them are at home.
That would really help. Felton hits a free throw, 1 out of 2. It's 9-7. And there's their record since he was hurt. Broken foot. He broke an arm in high school. They say he's a quick healer. He came back quicker than expected from that. Reddick. And Reddick is saying that ball had to be tipped. I'm a great shooter. I'm not going to hit the side of the backboard.
Jackie Manuel did a great job challenging him defensively. Take a look at his history, Mike. You've been here for all those games.
Yes, I have, Dick. North Carolina still leads the overall series, but Duke has dominated lately. They won the last 5, 10 of the last 11, and they have lumped the heels in the process, winning by almost 20 points a game.
Duhan's on the floor now. They need his defensive ability. They need his leadership.
McCants for North Carolina. And then McCann dribbles the ball out of bounds.
Look at Duhan, the last 6 games, really been struggling. 4 turnovers a game. But more than that, the 24% field goal percentage, ineffective, but he hasn't played defense.
Nice pass to Sanders. Beautiful little pass inside.
That was a great look, great angle. Sanders with the good post move. That's been really not existed in their offense. Inside scoring.
Felton lost the ball. Still loose. Shavlik-Randolph comes up with it. He goes inside and scores.
He was 6 without play in that game at Florida State for over 6 minutes.
Duke with its first lead, and this place is going nuts.
It is wacky, just like last night at Rupp Arena when Kentucky put the hurt on Florida.
Nice move by Jawad Williams to get by Sanders. Good pass to the baseline. Jackie Manuel for 3.
Got to make that open shot. He's not normally a good long-range shooter. Struggles from that on the perimeter. He's more a slasher.
And Carolina is the worst three-point shooting team in the ACC. They've hit their first 3 tonight. Dante Jones will try a 3. Both teams just lighting it up.
I'll tell you, Dante Jones playing like the Storm he did earlier this year. Not like the kid that played down there in Tallahassee.
He has 8 of Duke's first 14 points.
Oh, who's that wacky guy? Why don't you join me? Why don't you come up there with me? 63 years old on a Mac 12.
So, set up a department meeting for tomorrow and put in a call to the client. Get them up to speed. Anything else?
Here's a thought. Instead of saving money by not using paper, we could just go to Staples.
Yeah, with Staples 365 savings, they compare prices and back it up with a 110% price match guarantee.
I like that. Jot that down.
Low prices on every item every day. Staples 365 savings. Savings made easy.
could have seen it coming. Cadillac. Breakthrough.
Tomorrow night at 7, Josh Howard and Wake Forest face NC State and Julius Hodge as rivalry week intensifies. At 8, it doesn't get any cooler on the ice as the Avalanche meet the Red Wings. At 9, Drew Nicholas and the ACC leading Terrapins meet Virginia. It's all on ESPN and ESPN2 tomorrow night. ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is presented by Staples. Get back time. Go to Staples. And in part by Cadillac. Bold vehicles defying convention.
They were playing, guys. Duke in North Carolina. The Heels with the basketball down by 2. They're shooting lights out. North Carolina 4 out of 5. Duke 6 out of 8.
I think we're going to see a strong performance out of Chris Duhon tonight. I think he's got the message how important he is to this basketball team. Hey, I'll tell you, talk about McCants, how important he is. Barry Svaluga had an article today about the fact that when he scores 20 a game, in the games they won, he's brilliant. In the games they lose, he shoots 39%.
The big part of their offense, the question is, can they get what they want out of them on defense? McCann's trying to go backdoor. Knocked away from Sanders. Shavlik Randolph reached in. And there's a jump ball situation. This is a great officiating group. Carl has Duke Edsel and Tim Higgins. 3 veteran guys that are going to let them play.
Had that last night also with Clarkity and certainly Teddy Valentine and Jim Burge. You look at McCants, he's just got to really listen to his teammates too, who are sending a message to him. You got to play hard every day in practice. You hate to see a talent like that not respond to a bunch of coaches that are so passionate and love that jersey they represent.
Sanders tries to get it inside, may have been tipped, and here comes Duhon on the run. Nice burst to the basket. It's blocked, and an offensive foul on Duhon.
A little bit out of control, trying to be the aggressor. As you look at Coach K, Coach K did not even show up after the Florida State game for the post-game radio show. He was so long with his team after that game. Bob Harrison does a great job, and everyone waiting, and Coach K was more concerned about his team. Turnovers early.
Ewing, nice move to get free. Hits the jumper. Well, if it hadn't been for turnovers, it'd be 30-30 by now. Nobody's missed a shot.
I love the little guy. I think Felton is one of the elite 8 players in terms of diaper dandies in the country.
Wonderful player. That pass too strong for Randolph.
And what he's done now, Felton, has really improved his perimeter game, shooting 50% from out of the perimeter. I don't know if you've seen the kid Carmelo Anthony. I think he's the best freshman in the nation.
Seen him on television. He looks pretty good. But I'll tell you one thing about Felton. Even when he wasn't scoring very many points and some of the fans were disappointed, this was when North Carolina was winning early in the season, and he was just delighted to be where he was.
Yeah, and he was passing the ball exceptionally well.
Great follow by Noel on the McCants miss. Well, let's join the 3rd member of our team tonight. Here's Jay Billis. Jay, how are you?
Doing great, Mike. One of the big matchups in this ball game is the point guard matchup. Duke wants to really get out and pressure Raymond Felton. When he gives up the ball, don't let him get it back. They really think they can get into North Carolina's offense that way and take them out of transition. And on the other end, Chris Duhon has got to assert his leadership better with this team. He didn't start in this ball game. Coach K trying to push every button he can to get his junior playing better basketball.
Jawad Williams hits a 3. Boy, I tell you what, they came with their shooting clothes tonight.
What a nice penetration by Felton to create the open opportunity. And Williams has really responded. As you said earlier, 24 and 22 in his last 2 games.
And North Carolina has hit all 4 of its 3-point shots. And Williams has 8 points so far in this first half.
They lost a tough game to Wake Forest.
Shavlik Randolph, who has 4 points off the bench, taken away. Noel travel. Would have been an easy bucket for the Heels, but they lose it.
Take a look at the penetration. He creates, he innovates, and he kicks out. He's the 3D man, baby. Drive, draw, and dish the rock. And Mr. Williams knows how to finish.
That is the exact spot at Georgia Tech. He hit 3 buckets in a row in the first half. When he set a career high in the first half, somebody went and stood on the spot in the second half.
Hey, Georgia Tech, Paul Hewitt's club at home is like unbeatable.
Reddick wide open for 3. Count it.
You better not leave him open. He got challenged big time down at Florida State, but he was 4 for 13. If you allow him to be open, forget about it.
If he gets open shots, he could get 50. Felton, that's a tough shot. Nice rebound by Horvath.
Drew Nicholas really covered him big time in the second half when Maryland put the hurt on Duke.
Duran for 3. Short Sanders rebound.
Sanders and Horvath getting a lot of playing time, the veterans.
Dante Jones looked like he made up his mind he was going to shoot that one early. Reddick got the rebound.
What they want out of Duran, as Jay said, leadership, penetrate, create opportunities, and then defend. He must defend because pressure defense is so vital to do.
Reddick is now being guarded by Melvin Scott. They need him to play some good defense. He has not shot well. Horvath leans in, walks.
Yeah, he lifted that pivot foot. Had a nice game in a loss at Florida State. 12 off the glass. Had 11 points. Hey, this place is rocking, Mike.
It's a typical North Carolina Duke game.
That's right.
Martin, please, come in. Everyone know Martin from IT, the guy who linked all our applications together? What, no chair?
The game Sunday with Pittsburgh. Not a great effort against Seton Hall tonight. Meanwhile, Marcus Toniel drives and penetrates. Pirates are hitting their free throws up by 7-13 seconds. Another Big East ranked team, UConn, goes down big. BC 1-point lead over St. John's in the final 30 seconds. Keep you posted.
We're tied at 19 with 11:51 to go. Earlier, before the game, all the Cameron crazies outdoors waiting to get inside. This is the most precious ticket you can find at Duke. These kids wait forever. And sure, some of the luster is off. Duke has dropped to 9th. They were #1 a couple of weeks ago. North Carolina's been struggling. I don't care what you say. This is the best game in college basketball.
Oh, it says North Carolina and Duke in that jersey, and that just simply means enthusiasm, energy, a lot of pride, tradition. It is so special. It is the greatest rivalry, Mike. I agree with you. There are other rivalries a little bit more intense right now in terms of winning. Duke plays Maryland, in terms of what's at stake. But the bottom line is Duke and Carolina is still special.
Daniel Ewing picks up his 2nd foul.
You know, Maryland and Duke, obviously the stakes have been so high in those matchups.
And Maryland right now in control of its own destiny in the ACC.
Doing a great job, Gary Williams and his kids.
More NCAA action coming your way at midnight Eastern. The West Coast Conference takes center court when the Pepperdine Wave goes against the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Felton with the basketball in a 19-19 tie. Nearly a steal. And Felton saves at the baseline.
Has such great vision. His passing ability is so special.
Oh, pretty pass that time, and Noel powers one up.
I'll tell you, Noel has really improved his game. They liked him in the workouts. Dean Smith told me about him at the Jimmy V banquet. He said, hey, let me tell you, this David Noel could be a surprise. Went there on a football scholarship originally.
He has 7 points. They talked him into playing basketball. He's a big-time football recruit. Reddick was driving, and he's fouled on the way in. Again, more NCAA action coming your way at midnight Eastern. The West Coast Conference, the Pepperdine Wave against arch-rival Gonzaga. Undefeated in conference play. They beat Pepperdine on January 12th. And tomorrow, ESPN2. 2 more great matchups. NC State against Wake Forest. At 9, Virginia against Maryland. All part of rivalry week.
Well, you'll be there for that Virginia-Maryland game. What has happened to Virginia?
I don't know. Keith Jennifer is suspended indefinitely for conduct detrimental to the team. That's got to be a blow. You lose your point guard that way.
I'll tell you one thing, Maryland really hot. They have really responded after losing all the talent they did to the NBA last year.
Hasn't Gary Williams done a brilliant job with that? Reddick, he's hit 2 bombs in a row.
If he gets wide open, you just count it. He's automatic. He's also going to make my Elite 8 diaper dandies.
Knocked away, another steal. Turnovers becoming a factor early in the game. Great pass and a great block by Noel. Check it, McCants got that one.
I'll tell you what passion is on that floor now, and the enthusiasm. Look at Reddick. Look at that form. Squares his body. He gets the great look, the rotation. He has the unbelievable follow-through.
Forced the shot that time. Noel is on him. That's a tough match for Reddick. Giving up that height. Dockery had it knocked away.
North Carolina's really responded here. They have come out and played with a lot of fire.
I think Noel makes them tougher at both ends of the court. He gives them that physical presence they've missed since May was out.
And he's a good athlete as well. He can run up and down, a good transition player. They are a different team, though, if they get Sean May on the inside to post up.
Reddick tried to get it to Horvath, and he couldn't handle it.
Look at Sean. Dad was Scott. Great player. Played on an undefeated team. Indiana. Speaking of Indiana, in general, it's number 800 most likely tonight at home.
You mean speaking of Texas Tech?
Yeah, right. Texas Tech. Well, I said speaking of Indiana, because when I think of Indiana, I think of night.
That's right. McCants with a miss. He is yet to get on track after not starting for the second straight game. Duhan forced it down the lane. No basket. He was fouled before the shot.
But at least he's trying to be aggressive. He's really attacking the basket. Really been in a real struggle. Here he is right now. Look for Duhan. They need his penetration ability. They need leadership out of him. He's a veteran. They got to host the young kids around him. And that is the difference in North Carolina and Duke. North Carolina is surrounded by all young people. Matt Doherty doesn't have the luxury of having veterans like Dante Jones and Sanders and Horvath and Duhan.
No, his veterans are sophomores.
Right, his veterans are second-year players. Good call, Mike.
Rashad McCants will pick up his first personal. Rivalry week, of course, presented by Novell, and this is the 213th renewal of this rivalry. North Carolina against Duke, the first of the home-and-home series.
Had a rivalry last night, Kentucky, Florida. I saw suffocating defense. The best I've witnessed in 10 years for a half put on by Tubby Smith and his Wildcats.
Dante Jones leans in, can't hit it. Good defense inside by the heels. Scott, pull-up jumper. He has not shot the ball well, but he is now.
Well, you know what Matt Doherty did? I thought it was a great coaching move. Before the game, I was by the locker room. He told them, and he said, if you miss a shot or two, don't worry, I'm not taking you out. Shoot the ball and shoot it with confidence.
Sometimes that's what it takes. Sanders. Noel with another rebound. Noel logging some very good minutes tonight. 3 boards for him. McCants got by Dante Jones, and it falls.
I don't think there's any doubt that McCants is as talented as any freshman in America offensively. He has to buy into the fact you have to play on 2 sides of the floor.
That's his first bucket. It came at the 9-10 mark, and North Carolina extends its lead to 3. The field goal story, both teams shooting very, very well.
Take a look at Rashad McCants right here. He goes against the veteran, Dante Jones. Takes him to the goal, very strong, a physical driver, very explosive. He's also a member of my Elite 8. There's no doubt. Take a look at his point production, 18 a game. Remember, he doesn't, again, have the luxury of having veteran players around him to help him out.
Tell you what, these guys don't play like freshmen.
Oh, no, they play so much basketball during the summer, all the competition.
Very good inbounds pass. Randolph can't hit it again. Now he gets it blocked inside by Manuel. Dante Jones with the loose ball, now taken by Carolina. McCants. Randolph reaches around and commits the foul. Not a good play by Shavlik Randolph. That'll get you one every time.
Yeah, not a good one at all. Had a great game against Butler, who they beat here. A very good Butler team, who I believe will be in the NCAA tournament this year. He had 24 points off the bench, then got sick, and only played 6 minutes in that loss against Florida State. Hey, I told you about a month ago, I said, take it to the bank. Leonard Hamilton, in 3 years, will have Florida State in the first division in the ACC.
Yeah, but you didn't say anything about last week.
No.
Felton got caught up in the air, dumps it to Manuel. Manuel leans in. That's a blocking foul.
Well, Tim Higgins, he makes the call with unbelievable quickness, and that's what I love about an official. No doubt, call it with confidence. You can even hide sometimes when you're wrong, when you call it with authority.
Yeah.
There's the kick out. There's the drive, and they got the block. Good call. It was not there. Defensive player was not set, was not there. Didn't beat him to the spot.
Jackie Manuel goes to the free throw line, 69% from the stripe. Carolina with a 3-point lead, 8:28 to go in the half. Manuel misses the first.
Jackie, an outstanding defensive player, a stopper on the defensive end. North Carolina early this year, I had him in that Kansas game, had him in the NIT. You would have thought, watching them play, Mike, they'd never be sitting at 11-9. But then again, didn't know about the injury happening for Sean May.
Carolina 1 of 4 from the free throw line. Duke has not shot a free from the first half.
Teams have been doing a better job of keeping Duke away from the free throw line. It also happened in their game with Maryland.
Dante Jones, beautiful change of direction. Then he missed the shot. Manuel with a rebound. McCants, pretty pass.
That's great transition basketball. That's Carolina basketball, vintage Dean Smith era.
And that's how well Noel runs the court. He has 9 first-half points.
What a great job in transition. Filling the lane, 45-degree angle. Dean Smith used to teach them great fashion at North Carolina.
Carolina by 5. In and out by Ewing. Pretty pass by McCants as well.
North Carolina playing with a lot of confidence. They got a lot of bounce. This guy can really attack you off the dribble, McCants.
Jawad Williams kicks it out to Felton. He's got range. Felton buries one.
He's really been hot lately, Mike. He has elevated his game to a new level. Raymond Felton is going to be a special player at North Carolina.
North Carolina with its biggest lead. Duke has missed its last 8 shots. And on cue, J.J. Redick will check back in at the next free.
I've not lost at home. One of the longest win streaks in America at home.
And Duhan with another turnover. Duke out of sorts right now offensively. And the Heels have gone on an 11-0 run. And one of the rare fast break opportunities they have had here at Cameron Indoor. 30-22.
800 in the second try against poor old Nebraska. After falling down 5-zip, the Red Raiders go on a 25-0 run. Ronald Ross the steal, Kasib Powell the dunk. Only 79 short after tonight of Dean Smith, guys.
Chris, think what you might about Bobby Knight. A lot of things he's done that I'm sure he would like to have back, but he is one of the great coaches that ever lived in any sport. The man is brilliant the way he conducts a basketball team.
Well, he represents all the things you believe in. Work ethic, the tradition of giving your best, doing things with integrity, playing as a team. Forget about playing for the name on the back of a jersey, play for the front of the jersey. And that's what he also taught to Mike Krzyzewski, his former disciple. As you look here at the numbers, 799. Get ready to change that to 800. I mean, I got
Jim Phelan, of course, retiring. And let's, while we have an opportunity, let's go to Jay Billis. Jay?
Guys, coming into this ball game, Duke wanted to put a lot of pressure on North Carolina, but the North Carolina guards have done a great job of handling that pressure. If you notice, North Carolina has kept the court spread. They beat Duke off the dribble, and they've really been ready to shoot when the ball has arrived. I think their handling of pressure is one of the big reasons they're ahead right now.
Well, you're absolutely right, Jay. They've done a great job.
And Jay, I'll tell you this, they're 5 for 6 shooting the 3, and the penetration of Felton has been absolutely sensational. He has won the battle of the point guard play.
Well, Felton makes a huge difference on this team because of that ability to penetrate and to get the ball into scoring areas.
Jawad Williams under some pressure this time as they got him off that spot. There's more NCAA action still to come. Alwyn Stipp will talk to you about this. The NBA All-Star Friday at 9 o'clock Friday. Stuart Scott and Kevin Frazier will anchor the festivities to kick off the NBA's All-Star Weekend in Atlanta. Dante Jones down the lane.
He's really asserting himself offensively. Duke has won 23 in a row at home. It's one of the longest win streaks. The best Oklahoma with 33, followed by Western Kentucky with 30, and Marquette 26.
Dante Jones has 10 of the Blue Devils' 24. McCants, that's one of the things they have not been happy with him, settling for the long-range jump shot.
Got to be a little more patient. Got to utilize his driving ability.
Jones kicks it out to Duhan. The shot has just been off all year.
He's shooting 25% from the trifecta.
McCants lost it off his foot. Williams can't save it. Here comes Duhan. Nice step through by Duhan, but he missed the shot.
Not completing the play, but he made a great effort. Matt Doherty all fired up on that sideline. I'll tell you one thing, he's got to be proud here tonight, the way his kids are battling.
Duhan is 0 for 4 from the floor. Reddick will come out. Lee Melchione checks in for Mike Krzyzewski. So he's trying every button he can find.
You know, Melchione played well when he came off the bench in that game against Florida State. Got some minutes, scored 8 points. Dad played here at Duke. Gary, his uncle, played in the NBA. Billy played at Villanova.
Ewing tries to dump it to Melchione, touched by Felton out of bounds.
Yeah, didn't have a real good angle when he penetrated and tried to get it off to Melchione.
When you're 3 feet from somebody, it's pretty tough to expect them to catch a pass.
Very tough, Mike. He didn't have the good angle. Talk about penetration. They can honor Jay Williams at halftime.
It's Jason.
Jason.
At least for one night, it's going to be Jason again. Scott.
Giving Scott some minutes, despite the fact he's been a little bit of a shooting slump. As that dribble spread the court, as Jay said. Try to get penetration, try to run some backdoor cuts.
4:48 to go, first half. North Carolina with the lead. And this is what he did against Georgia Tech. Jackie Manuel had a stretch. Instead of stopping 6 or 7 feet away from the basket, he just took it in there and was very effective.
Well, they went into a one-on-one isolation, and he utilized his athletic ability and slashing ability to get to the basket.
Little runner. Sean Dockery gets his first bucket. He's 32-26.
Good prospect out of Chicago. Had 8 points. Had some quality minutes in the game down at Florida State.
Noel.
Good ball.
Excellent ball movement. Scott from the corner. He misses.
If you move the basketball, you're going to get good shots.
Duke has numbers, and Manuel will commit the foul.
Take a look at Manuel. He gets a little isolation right here. Little one-on-one maneuver. He beats Melchione to the baseline, and he gets no help. Nobody rotates over, gets the good angle, lays it on the glass. Excellent one-on-one movement in isolation. So a little hug on the official. That's smart. Look at this. They're making love. It's great. What a politician. Look at him. He said, wow, come on, help me out. Help me out. Wow, I like that. I like that.
This is the first Duke free throw of the half.
That's
highly unusual since they usually make more than the other team shoots.
They usually attempt about 30 a game. And right now, they've done a great job of not fouling. That's part of playing good defense, Mike. Not allowing people to get to the free throw line. Say, people can say what they want. I had a lot of people saying to me last night, oh, Duke, Carolina, come on, that's not a big game. I said, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Just get in this building and feel the electricity. Just feel the energy.
Hey, last year when North Carolina was 8-20, it was a big game twice.
Oh.
When Mike Krzyzewski had back troubles and Duke's season imploded, it was a big game twice.
It was one of the great games. Remember the double overtime?
Yes,
Kate
right here.
That shot to send it to overtime. Stockhouse, Wallace, painted faces. Look at these wackos. 1,400 on the SATs. That's the average to get in. I'd have to take the test 3 times to hope to get that. And I'd still struggle.
You'd still be a little short of 14. Carolina's been to the line 5 times, made only 1. Jawad Williams changes that.
Matt Doherty coaching in an environment where only they know one thing: winning, winning, winning. With the history of North Carolina, just like Notre Dame in football, with so much pressure.
10 points for Jawad Williams, and North Carolina continues to lead Duke.
So, set up a department meeting for tomorrow and put in a call to the client. Get them up to speed. Anything else?
Here's a thought. Instead of saving money by not using paper, we could just go to Staples.
Yeah, with Staples 365 savings, they compare prices and back it up with a 110% price match guarantee.
I like that.
Got a chance. Lets it fly. Oh! Wojciechowski. Heartbreak Hotel for the Dookies. So many unbelievable memories in this series. 34-26 North Carolina. Let's check in with Jay Billis.
Guys, you mentioned the free throw margin earlier in this ball game, and in ACC competition, Duke has been outshot and outscored from the free throw line in their 7 games. That is very unusual for Duke, and a sign that they've not been as aggressive. And I can tell you, before this game, having spent some time with Mike Krzyzewski, I've not seen him lately as animated as he's been. He wants his team to play well, but more importantly, he wants them to play with more aggression.
Well, you know, the reason for that, Jay, against Florida State, they take 38 threes in a stationary position. There's no driving and no penetration, and there's no attacking the basket.
Especially, you'd love to get Redick to the free throw line because he's on the verge of setting an ACC all-time record.
You know, Redick's one of my blue chip diaper dandies. He's had a brilliant year. It's going to be some battle in this conference for freshman of the year. There's so many great young players. Those are my Elite Eight, Mike. Those are my best, I think, 8 diaper dandies in the country. Anthony being the best, followed by Bosch and D. Brown and Diago doing a great job at Arizona State. Felton, McCants, Redick, and Gracie Wright. And I will tell you this. I really believe if these young kids stay in this conference, McCants and Felton and guys like Bosch, and they don't leave early.
It's going to be scary.
Yeah, we hear all these rumors. These kids would be wacky to think about going to the next level. You know, we saw Grant Hill sitting in the crowd along with Jason Williams. What about talent there? Grant's had such a tough break as a pro with all those injuries.
34-28 as we approach 3.5 minutes. Manuel guarded by Ewing. Ewing got the start tonight over Duhan at the point.
I think the confidence, they got to maintain this lead. They want the over and back. They want the over and back.
I don't think the ball went over.
I think you're right.
Felton hits the jumper. Another tough shot for Felton. It's 37-28.
I tell you, he has suddenly improved that range. I mean, he didn't shoot anywhere near like that earlier in the season.
Dante Jones short, but got it back and then fouled on the rebound by Sanders.
Take a look right here. Oh, the ball went over and back.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
It made it.
We're so high in the corner here, man.
Yeah, we can tell by the replay, not from the original shot.
They got us way up in the catbird seat, man. And I mean in the right-hand corner on the baseline. That's not fair.
The Pigeons have to fly at an angle to get in this corner.
That's not fair, man, with a guy with one eye to put me back here. That's just not fair. I'm going to complain to Joe Oliva, the AD. He's got to get us down there.
Yeah, good luck.
I mean, come on now. They should put us on the floor so we can feel the excitement down there.
Dante Jones hits the free throw, 37-29. Dante Jones with 13 first-half points. He's 6th in the ACC in scoring.
You know, I get a big kick, too. People say, what's happened to Duke? What's happened to Duke? They're like that.
They're 9th.
A lot of people wish they had a record like that.
Yeah.
But they lost 3 players that if you would ask most people to write the top 10 players in America last year, all 3 would be on everybody's list. Boozer, Williams, and Dunleavy.
Yeah, they're 14-3, ranked 9th in the nation. Please address your sympathy cards to Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Yeah, Matt Doherty doesn't want to hear about sympathy for them.
No. Excellent defense by Duke. They've turned it up the last couple of possessions. That's always been their hallmark. Redick.
He got fouled. Didn't call it. He definitely got fouled. No call on that play.
Manuel hit him after he took the shot. Mike Krzyzewski is up, wondering why there wasn't a three-point shot. Three-point foul, rather.
He has a legitimate grit. So does Chris Cowens. Johnny Dawkins. Even David Engelhardt, the fine trainer, standing up saying, what is this? Where's the contact? Come on now, look at that. He made contact on the hand. He's going to blow the whistle.
Duhan to inbound to Dante Jones. He's carried them offensively. Duhon, nice move and a great pass to Sanders.
That's great creativity, creating the opportunity. That's the high percentage shot off dribble penetration, which was a trademark of Duke basketball.
About the only kind of points you're going to get from Sanders. Jawad Williams, nice head fake. And then blocked by Sanders. Jawad Williams got it back and put it in.
Williams really attacking the basket. He's really improved in his second year.
He showed the flashes at the end of last season. Really come on this year. Ewing. And Sanders was cutting to the basket for the rebound. Maybe the pass a little bit late.
Matt Doherty's got to feel really good about the fact that he'll go probably in halftime with the lead unless something drastic happens here.
His kids have played very hard. They've played pretty smart.
Yes, sir. Taking good shots. Shot selection so important.
Shot clock down to 13. Manuel trying to drive. That's caught up. Another block by Sanders, and Ewing with a save in the corner.
I love shot blockers, man. They create momentum, especially if it goes down for three. Created by the block shot by Mr. Sanders, and the crowd is pumped up. Look at those wackos. Unbelievable. It's Duke. It's Carolina. It's special, man. Any way you want to call it, it is special.
30-second timeout for Matt Doherty. Duke makes a run. They've closed it to 4.
It all started with the block shot. We're going to watch Manuel kick it out, but here comes Sanders. There's the rejection. Thou shalt not take it in the lane. This is pride. And then Mr. Ewing lets it fly, and his daddy jumps with joy and says, "That's my son, Daniel."
Biggest North Carolina lead was 9. Mass Mutual halftime report coming up. Louisville continues to roll. UConn, 17th ranked, and another 4 outing for them. And Bob